Hey everybody, guess what? We are back, man. This is African Frame Podcast. Yes, this is, I'm sure by now this is probably one of your favorite movie podcasts. If you're not, then I don't know, maybe we're not doing something right. But I hope this is one of your favorite movie podcasts. If you're new, just know that African Frame, basically what we do is we narrate a film, we unpack it, we give you trivia, we give you box office receipts, we give you our take on it, what could have been fixed, what worked, what didn't. We give our ratings on it. Who are we? I am Mr. Extrodin. And I have Rob Sibeko, who's a writer, who's a director. He has a book out called Jin's War, as you can see on his background. Please get yourself a copy of the ebook. You can also find it on Google Play. I'll leave a link in the description below. I have myself a copy. Get it before it gets expensive, because you know how it is. The more demand, the higher the price, right? So make sure that you get yourself a copy. And basically, we have been covering a lot of films. We've done Christopher Nolan movies, we've done Quentin Tarantino movies, we've done Stanley Kubrick movies, we've done animated projects. Actually, this one that we're going to be doing now is another animated project. We've also done bad films. Hello, Rebel Moon. So we're doing a lot of different things. If you have a movie suggestion, please let us know. It doesn't actually have to be something from Hollywood, even if it's Bollywood, even if it's something from France or Brazil. If you think it's worth discussing, please let us know. We'll have a look into it and then we'll give our thoughts on it. I mean, we did a South African one as well. We did District 9, So yeah, that is us. Today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke, I believe, came out in 98. No, 97.
Yeah.
97. It is done by Studio Ghibli. This is actually the first Studio Ghibli film that we've done before, that we've ever done on this podcast. Those who do not know Studio Ghibli is a Japanese animation studio akin to Walt Disney Pictures, you could say, or rather Walt Disney Animation, founded by Hayao Miyazaki, Isao Takahata, and a third guy. I just forgot the third guy's name. But they have basically done award-winning animated projects. Spirited Away. They've done The Boy and the Heron, which came out I think last year, also won an award. And they've done like a lot of things. One of the most famous ones that they've done is called My Neighbor Totoro. They've also done Grave of the Fireflies, The Cat Returns, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke, Ponyo. They've also done what's this one that I'm thinking about now? Lupita Castle in the Sky. They've also done is it Pokoro or Poroko, about the pig that's a pilot. They've also done A Wind Rises. They've done quite a number of stuff, to be honest with you. And most of them have been quite successful. I don't think they really have one that is not right, or that was so bad that, oh well, Ocean Waves is one of them. But I love Ocean Waves. Actually, it's one of the films that I'm going to suggest for us to cover this year. They've also done Up from Poppy Hill, which is another movie that I would like us to touch on. But yeah, basically, this is one of the ones that they did. And yeah, we're going to get into it. I don't know if there's any trivia that you have in mind before we start.
Isn't this done in connection with Disney as well? I think like Disney's involved in this in some way. I'm not sure.
Distribution probably.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. But otherwise,
didn't they do? I think they had a collaboration with Miramax first, though, before Disney. I think because no, Harvey Weinstein was. I think him and Harvey Weinstein sort of had a clash a bit at a point.
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and who's this guy? John Lasseter of Pixar. Looks highly, like he really reveres Hayao Miyazaki. It's kind of like how George Lucas and Steven Spielberg used to look up to Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to Miyazaki. Yeah.
Which is funny because if you think about it, Miyazaki has like a beef with all our favorite things. You know that Miyazaki doesn't like anime.
Yeah, well, look, Miyazaki that man is a complicated man, a complex and complicated. I don't know if you've seen his documentary that came out on NHK. I think NHK is a Japanese channel. I think it's My Life in 10 Years or something like that, where it just shows you when he was working on Ponyo. And man, that man sometimes would just tell the camera guy nonsense. Like, why are you following me? Like, yo, I have to record content. What do you mean? You know? But I just wanna. Oh, the other guy is Toshio Suzuki. That's the other one of the third founder. But there's also another one. There's also another person called Yasuyoshi Tokuma. Um, and then Princess Mononoke. Yeah, as I was saying, it was distributed by Miramax. Apparently, it was dubbed into English with a script by Neil Gaiman. You know Neil Gaiman, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Sandman, yeah.
Sandman. Yeah. So it had a budget of 2.35 billion yen. Uh, Converted to dollars is 23.5 million, and it made 194.3 million at the box office.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I think we can just maybe talk about the cast, the English cast.
Yeah.
So Billy Crudup, I hope I'm not butchering his name, or Crudup, I don't know. He's the one that voices Ashitaka. Ashitaka is our main protagonist.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, Billy has been in Watchmen as Dr. Manhattan. He was
Yes.
also Flash's father in The Flash. No, no, in Justice League. In
Yes.
Justice League.
Yes.
Because the dad in The Flash, I think, is the guy that we are talking about just last time with Loud American in Tully, the husband, right? That's the dad now. Yes. What did you know? There's a movie, man.
He was the most famous. I don't know if you know that movie. Fantastic one. Uh,
Yes. There's a movie that I wanted you and I to touch on actually. It's a movie like I think even before we even started this podcast, there's a movie that I was like, Rob and I need to do this movie. Um, I think it's the Abbots, forgetting the Abbots or something. I'll tell you just now.
mhm.
It has who's this guy again who played Napoleon recently? Yeah, Queen Phoenix.
Queen Phoenix, yes.
It had the Queen Phoenix and it had Jennifer Connelly. It had who's that beautiful woman that plays Princess Arwen in Lord of the Rings? What's her name again? Liv Tyler. Yeah,
Uh,
you know,
Played Arwen.
yeah, Princess Arwen. Yeah,
Oh, I don't know her name actually.
they were sisters, and he was brothers with what's this guy's name? The Queen Phoenix. Just give me a second. I think it's the Abbots. The Abbots film. Is it Forgetting the Abbots? Inventing the Abbots. Yes, Inventing the Abbots. Came out in 1997. Bro, that movie. I love that movie. It's definitely a Kuto movie. Definitely a Kuto movie. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's a Kuto movie. But it has him there. It has him in that movie. He was also in Mission Impossible 3.
Yes, that's something I know. Yeah, definitely.
Alien Covenant.
Absolutely.
And then he was also in. Did you mention Big Fish?
No, I didn't mention Big Fish.
Eat, Pray, Love.
No, not yet. I've mentioned now, but I know that one. Yes, absolutely. I know him in that one, definitely.
And he was in uh I think it's called Glass Chin. I haven't watched that one. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
it has Claire Danes as Sun. Sun is basically, I guess you could say Princess Mononoke is based
Yeah.
on Sun. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, Claire Danes, we all know her from Romeo and Juliet, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
She was also in Stardust. Man, Stardust for me is one of the best movies ever made, by the way.
Really, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, look, I don't know why it gets flack but honestly speaking, for me, it's one of the best movies ever made. She was also in Terminator. The third Terminator, Terminator 3.
Ah, okay.
And then she was in Little Women.
Hmm?
I guess you could say the 1994 version, because I do know there's another Little Woman that came out recently, right?
Yeah, there's a more new one, even though I haven't seen it myself.
Yeah, that's the one with like it's just like, you know what I've noticed about Little Women? It's like they make sure to get the most attractive women to play sisters. Like because I think the one that came out recently has who's this lady? I think it has this lady that I like so much. Who's the lady in Black Widow again who plays Yelena Belova?
In Black Widow,
Yeah, she's the new Black Widow now.
the sister.
The sister, yeah.
I don't know her name. Let me see if I can find it.
I think it's I'll tell you just now. She calls Timothy Chalamet Shamala. She says her grandmother calls him.
Florence Pugh, that's it.
Yes, Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan and Emma Watson, and like it's just like these beautiful women, bro. Yeah, but we're talking about the one that came out in 1994 with
Yeah,
Winona Ryder and all those people.
Well, another good one she's in is Les Mis. I think she plays the daughter, I think. What does she play in Les Mis?
In Les Miserables.
Yeah, the Jeffrey Rush one, not the Wolverine one.
We're still talking about Claire Danes.
Yes.
Oh, she was in Les Mis. Oh, I see. It came out in 1998.
Yeah. And that's the one I know her for, definitely, because
it has Liam Neeson in it?
Yes.
And Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
And Geoffrey Rush?
As the officer, yeah.
Dude, you always come up with like movies that I didn't know existed. Like, wait, is this a musical as well, or is this?
No, this one isn't a musical.
Oh, I think I'd rather watch this one then.
Yeah, you don't have to watch Wolverine singing. Yeah.
Yeah, look, Wolverine was not that bad for me. The person that was horrible was who's the gladiator guy? What's his name again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm forgetting people's names today.
Uma Thurman is here. Yeah, like you said, man. There's genuinely some great people here, and it's a great storyline, and it's visually stunning. Like they put money into this movie, so.
Look, honestly speaking, Les Miserables is a good story. If we're being completely honest, it's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange story in terms of a movie, but in terms of a play, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Like this guy that's just, I know you stole all over bread, but I'm gonna dedicate my life into hunting ass down like the Terminator. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you could say something similar about Stardust, because Stardust is about events that happened before the main character is even born, because obviously his parents had to meet up, because one of them is from another place. Then they have him. Then he goes to the place where his.
Stardust is also a style where it's like that I don't want to say it's not. I would say the way it was filmed was almost. It makes more sense as a book, I'm sure, or even a play, than a movie, in my opinion. I know you like there's strange things where you're like, huh, it's still better than the other one. What is the other one called? The one with because remember there were two of these types of movies that came out about the same time. The one had Daniel Craig in it with the polar bear. Remember that one?
The Golden Compass?
Compass, yes.
Right.
Now there was an incoherent movie, dude. That one
had to just be a book. It just either had to be a book or a series. Yeah.
There's clearly parts that are missing that we don't understand in that. So I think there are some things where it's like, okay, it depends on how you do it, where you're like, I don't even know how you convert these things.
Do you think the success of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter made other studios want to adapt books into
that is a straight fact, yes, literally. The success of Game of Thrones produced a bunch of nonsense. The success of Twilight produced a bunch of nonsense. The success of Hunger Games produced a bunch of nonsense. It's the rule of Hollywood. It's the rule of Hollywood. If one thing succeeds, then you gotta try again.
Make a trend.
Yeah.
Because there's so much.
That's how we got Divergent.
There's so much superhero nonsense that's coming out now, dog. Yeah. Oh my goodness! Like, why are you making into a superhero. Do you remember The Cape? There was a series called The Cape.
Didn't even watch that. Yeah, but it's a thing where it's dying down now. Unless something comes out like that, the Deadpool Wolverine comes and rocks the world, then I think it's done.
Yeah.
I legitimately think if Wolverine and Deadpool is a bad movie, it's done. Superhero movies are going to take a back step.
Because even animation is tanking now. I don't know if you've noticed, but you know those 3D animated projects that used to come out, like a story and whatever. Pixar has been flopping time after time now. Even Disney with this whole live adaptation of animated projects, like The Little Mermaid, I think it didn't do so well at the box office.
It didn't. It don't get me wrong, it made money, but it wasn't $1 billion. It should have been $1 billion. It was like 700 million.
Was it 700 million? I think it was it a box office failure though? I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't a failure. But the thing is, by definition of Disney, it's a failure. How does Lion King make $1 billion, but then Little Mermaid makes 700 million? How's that possible?
Right. Right.
And I think Aladdin also made $1 billion, but then Little Mermaid doesn't. It's crazy.
Beauty and the Beast made $1 billion, over $1 billion, I remember.
Yes, that's again following the same formula you mentioned.
569.6 million at the box office.
Do you understand how terrible that is for a Disney?
Nobody talks about Dumbo, by the way.
Yeah, because I don't even remember Dumbo. There was that quiet about it.
I didn't even watch it. It made 353.3 million.
Tim Burton, right?
Yeah, it was Tim Burton.
See, it was dark. I remember correctly. By dark, I don't mean the themes were dark. No, I mean like someone put sunglasses on the camera, and then that was the film.
It feels like that hour-long, movie-long episode in Game of Thrones where we didn't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. Episode 3, season 8.
Yeah.
And I think I think people get tired of patterns, and I think people are tired of Tim Burton. I think Tim Burton needs to either make like what's that thing with the peach? I don't know if that was him who made that movie.
The giant peach.
Yes, I don't know if that was Tim Burton, but he needs to make something colorful like that again.
I'm glad you mentioned Tim Burton, because I wanted to say that Sweeney Todd, I think for me, is also a movie that shouldn't really be a movie. It seems like it looks great as a play, but not necessarily.
That is 100% a play, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it drags on in the last quarter. I think in the last, I would say middle quarter. So 3 quarters. In that last 3 quarters, I think there's a part where I don't remember what happens in the plot. I fall asleep.
Yeah.
This happens there, and then it picks up a little bit again at the end. I think it's a. I have to watch it again. Maybe we'll add it onto the list one day. But I think to me, definitely overdone.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I don't think I'm a big fan of. Funny enough.
It wasn't Tim Burton. It was Henry Selick, not Tim Burton. But I wouldn't have minded if he did something colorful again, just to distract us from his pattern.
You're talking about the peach, no? That's not Tim Burton.
Yeah, peach, yes.
For me, honestly speaking, I think I have a problem with musicals. I think if they're not done right, they just don't work. Funny enough, Bollywood, I don't mind any Bollywood film that's a musical. But with Hollywood, I think, I don't know, I cringe a bit with some of their projects. Some of them are great. Don't get me wrong.
I love musicals. I love musicals, but I think I agree with what you're saying. A musical is a big, because you have to remember a niche product. When a product is niche, it's a big swing, and you're going to spend big budget money on a niche product. It's a huge swing. You can either hit big or you can miss big.
Right.
A good example being, of course, Disney stuff. The Disney Renaissance, of course, that goes without saying. Those are big hits.
I mean, A Whole New World, the Sea, like Beauty and the Beast, like almost every project that came out then was great. Even when Prince of Egypt came out, even though it was DreamWorks.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And you know something? Whenever a musical hits, it automatically, like a boxing movie, it will automatically land into Oscar territory.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with musicals and boxing movies.
Yeah.
Right. You don't fuck it up. You're in Oscar territory.
Or biopics.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually, you mentioned that. But yes, I agree. Biopics are complicated because for me, there's a reviewer that started talking about the style of biopics that have started being made, and I think he's right. There's almost too many biopics coming out lately. Have you noticed?
Yeah, it's been like that for a while, actually, to be honest. Probably for like the past 10 years, yeah.
dog, it is crazy how many biopics. And now they start making these kind of biopics now that are basically a highlight reel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like when you buy a discography like Jay-Z's greatest hits? That's what these biopics are now. Have you noticed? These major events that have been crunched down to almost the point where it's almost out of context. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, like it ends up becoming nothing.
Yeah.
Because especially if you know the history behind certain things,
Yes.
maybe you read a book or you watched a
Yes.
documentary, and even some of the performances of the actors become so watered down that they're not even believable anymore. Either they're not believable or they become caricatures of the actual person, right?
Exactly. And it starts to feel like a lie. Like one of my favorite musicians of history was Queen. And now Rami Malek won an Oscar for that movie, but they made up a bunch of shit. Like that one guy was like, "You guys can never make it." That guy didn't exist. That producer, do you know what I mean? Things like that.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't do a Beatles movie yet.
It's coming, I'm sure. They just
And it's probably gonna be called like Let It Be or something.
yeah, no, that'll be the audience saying, "No, stop, let it be, bro. Just let it be. Stop."
But also, I just wanted to say, unless if you do it, like how you see how Aaron Sorkin did Jobs.
Yes.
That was brilliant because it's 3 events in Apple's history before they launch a product.
Yes.
And they're talking about the ins and outs of that product.
Yes.
And it's
those slices tell you all you need to know. You don't need to
exactly
all the greatest hits, like with the Aston Kutcher one.
Yeah, I still love that version. Don't get like trust me, I love it. I don't know. I know people don't like it. I like it.
Yeah.
But it does have some of the problems that
things too quickly.
Yes, it does have the problems that we're talking about now.
Yes.
And they try to make Wozniak like a comic relief just because they have George Gad. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because George Gad is a brilliant actor. He doesn't have to be funny. You don't have to make him funny.
You don't have to at all.
Yeah.
I mean, ironically, look at the comedian in Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be funny at all, and that man was not funny.
And funny enough, the real Steve Wozniak felt like Seth Rogen did a perfect job portraying him. I mean, I remember I think there was an interview between Patrick Bet-David and Steve Wozniak, and Wozniak was like, "Of course, I was not talking about the Apple II each and every time I met Steve Jobs, like on those 3 occasions." But I mean, even Aaron Sorkin mentions it that look, the Steve Jobs that I create in that masterclass. I don't know if you saw it, but he was saying like the Steve Jobs that I create or the Mark Zuckerberg that I create in my movies are not bar for bar the real people. It's just my interpretation of that character in that specific moment, right? But what he tries to do is to try and create a realistic take on a specific situation and how that person would react to it.
And also, don't forget, it's a story about fatherhood. That's what that movie is about. It's about being a father, or rather being a bad father, rather. Or, you know what I mean? Like trying to find his fatherhood back inside of himself. Yes. That's the actual story. Do you know what I mean?
Like the correlation between the issue that he had as someone who was adopted to someone who denies his own child and finally accepts, the mistake that he made when he was young. Yeah. When he denied the child. So, but it has a lot of intricacies of technical jargon and him as a leader.
It has to. I mean, it has to. You can't just make it a random thing with that. Ironically, that's what a lot of modern stories are nowadays. When they take a random thing, they stick like the IP on it, and you're like, oh, this is the same thing. No, it's not. Like you need the technical details to make the story work. You can't just say it's a story about fatherhood and being adopted and all that stuff, and then be like, by coincidence, Steve Jobs. No, it has to be interlinked. Again, like Halo, where they try to make this whole. You haven't seen the Halo TV show. Yeah. But let's just say a Halo fan as a Halo fan, it's just ridiculous. Where they basically write their own story and they're like, what if we just stick the Halo name there? Do you know what I mean?
That happens a lot. That happens a lot because I mean, a lot of people are talking about how Endo doesn't feel like it's Star Wars, right?
Which is an interesting conversation because everyone agrees it's good, but
Yes,
it's Star Wars. Do you know what I mean?
yes, it's good, but is it Star Wars? That's
I
the
think that's actually an interesting conversation because we keep having these arguments where, yes, we all agree it's bad, but is it Star Wars? Can we finally have some more good shows and then discuss it afterwards? You know what I mean?
right, right.
Mandalorian season
But
3.
also, I think Endo should still be. I haven't watched it yet, but I still think it should be Star Wars because you cannot tell me that this entire universe only focuses on intergalactic, like high stakes Jedi versus Sith.
Ironically, that's what made Mandalorian so good, was because it was an intergalactic high stakes.
Right.
It was about a bounty hunter
Yeah.
collecting a check.
Yes.
After this kid that's 50 years old.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
I think that's why I gravitate towards DC so much, right? It's because sometimes they would come up with projects that are so grounded, in their premise that you're like, wait, is this a DC comic? And I think that's why I liked Blade and The Punisher, the live action films that came out in the early 2000s, because yes, they are Marvel comics, but they don't feel like Marvel. They don't feel like comics.
Yeah.
The Punisher didn't feel like it's based on a comic. It just felt like it's an action movie.
I was thinking about spandex, you know what I mean? Blue tights and stuff like that when you watch that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you, man.
Yeah. But anyway, that's I guess our tangent. I don't even know. Oh, Joe, all this started from Billy Crudup.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just go back to the cast because I know Jada Pinkett Smith is in here. Just give me a second.
Yep.
You have Mini Driver who plays Lady Eboshi. I love Lady Eboshi, man. And then you have Billy Bob Thornton who plays Jigo the spy, or rather could say he's the triple. Is it a triple agent or double agent?
Yeah, I just call him the monk, but yes.
A monk, yeah. Then you have Toki who's played by Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yep.
Spoken about her before. And then you have Koroku. Who's Koroku? Koroku sounds familiar. Just don't know who. Just don't remember.
Soccer.
Oh, it's Sokka, the husband. Jada Pinkett Smith.
Voice of Soccer from the last Airbender. Avatar, sorry.
You mean John Demeter?
Yeah, the voice actor. Yeah. Let me see if I got it. Yeah, Demeter. I believe I've got it somewhere here. I could be wrong. I'm 99% sure. I'm positive I'm right. Give me 1 second.
I see he's an anime.
Yeah, this guy does a lot of voice stuff. He's even the voice of Silverfang.
Yeah, man. On One Punch Man.
Yep.
That is crazy, dog. He was even in Lilo and Stitch. He was in Ninja Scroll, Naruto Shippuden. Naruto. Like he plays different voices.
Yeah.
I don't see Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm so shocked, but yeah, I'm right.
Are you right?
Just wait, let me see. Give me 1 second. I am positive it is here.
Let me check Avatar: The Last Airbender quickly. I don't think it's him.
I am 70% sure.
Because the guy who places Sokka's name is... Just give me a second, I'll tell you just now.
Oh, wait. Am I wrong? Okay, wait. Okay, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, because this is Jack DeSena.
That's not an article about the two of them. I think it's just a visual thing. It's not an actual voice acting thing. Never mind.
Yeah, I do get it though. Trust me, I understand completely how you could correlate those people. And then you have Don DiMaggio as Gonza.
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson as Moro. Debbie Derryberry as Hisama, and Keith David as Okoto. You know Okoto the blind pig?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Keith David.
Didn't see that coming.
Same here. I couldn't even hear that it was him. which is weird because normally I can identify his
Oh
voice.
no, sorry. Yeah, I knew that Naruto. No, never mind. Keith David, of course. The narrator, I knew that right off the bat. The pig. Yes, you're right. The pig is Keith David. The demon is
Who's the narrator?
Keith David. He's like 3 different things in this thing.
Oh,
Keith
flip.
David shows up multiple times.
Oh, I didn't know. Look at David, guys. We need to give him like the Mufasa role now, because I think he even played Mufasa at one of these. I think it was like maybe the animated series of maybe in House of Mouse, because there's no way you can't give this man such an iconic role like Mufasa. I mean, like I think I've mentioned this in the past that the next best person after
Thing is, James Earl Jones is done, man. His voice
yeah,
is
the
unfortunately.
next best person after James Earl Jones has to be Keith David, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Or Lawrence Fishburne. You have to give it to one of those two men. You have no choice. But anyway.
That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. But because again, Lawrence Fishburne is a lovely, like what voice acting things has he done? I'm trying to think that like really stands out. Because sometimes an actor doesn't translate into being a voice actor.
No, I agree with you on that. I completely agree with you. I don't know if he's done any narration work.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about it now. Because yes, Lawrence Fishburne has a great voice, but now what has he done that would make me go? Because again, don't forget Peter Dinklage in Destiny. Oof.
Okay, I don't know about Destiny, but I do know that Peter Dinklage provides a really, really great voice. I don't know. I don't know if has Lawrence Fishburne done any animated stuff?
Sure, he has. Do you not at least do the Animatrix at least? Do you not at least have his character there?
Yeah, he probably did Animatrix, but I don't remember Morpheus's voice.
Because I know Jada Pinkett did her own voice in the game at least.
Game,
She
yes.
was in the game, yes. I just don't know if Lawrence Fishburne was.
TMNT, the narrator? Which TMNT is this?
Well, when it says TMNT, do they mean
I
it
mean,
might be
the CGI 2007.
CGI one?
Yeah.
Which is actually a surprisingly good one. Like I think that one holds up. I think people hate on that one way too much.
I haven't seen that one, to be honest.
What?
He has done like CSI stuff, video games voices. He has done like Matrix, The Path of Neo, The Matrix Online, Enter the Matrix.
Yeah, but anything that like really
Like huge.
yeah, and anything like we go oh
He was in what?
Chris Rock in the B movie sounded good actually. There was a surprisingly good one.
Who, Chris Rock?
Yeah, he has a very distinct voice.
Yeah, but Chris Rock is also he was also in what's that other one? What the Frank? Osmosis Jones. And he was also he was also the zebra in Madagascar. So I mean,
yeah. Yeah, he's got a strong. Do you know what I don't like actually? Brad Pitt. His voice doesn't stand out as unique. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like him in Sinbad. I wasn't feeling it.
There's a lot of guys who these handsome guys, the handsome trope who, I mean, Ben Affleck in Joseph. I mean, it's just like it's Ben Affleck. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna like
it'd be great, but it's not.
Yeah,
I think sometimes the voice meets the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think I see what you're saying there. I mean, he was in Kumba, but I don't think it was huge.
Yeah, nothing that I'm thinking of that goes, oof, you know what I mean? I just think that's interesting.
Look, it could be an interesting take, but obviously Keith David would be the first choice. Let's just put it like that.
Keith David right off the bat. And let's not forget about Static Shock. LeVar, what's his name again?
No, that's not LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton, yeah, you're talking about Kunta Kinte. No, we're talking about Phil Lamar. Phil Lamar.
There we go. There's always an L somewhere. There we go. Yes. And it's too bad Uncle Phil is dead because who doesn't like his shredder?
If you don't like his shredder, then there's something wrong with you. Because his voice actually went with the theme song. If that makes sense. I'll get you next time, turtles. Kind of sounds like Teenage Mutant Ninja. It fits. It fits.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I think we can get into it unless if there's anything else you want to mention.
Oh, actually, no. There's a fun addition to what you said about the beef with the Weinsteins, with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
When Okay, let's see. I'm gonna read it out.
The katana thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, they sent him a katana with the words "Do not cut." Yeah.
Yeah, because basically to give people context, Harvey Weinstein wanted to cut some scenes out of the.
And like lies one of the air. Ironically, the one you were talking about, that air in the wind or whatever, Valley of the Wind.
Nazca, The Valley of the Wind. I didn't mention that one. Yeah, but that's the one because that's the first film that came out from Studio Ghibli. We're not gonna count Lupin the Third, the Count of Cagliostro or something, because that was pre Studio Ghibli. But yeah, the Nazca, The Valley of the Wind. They had an issue with it. Actually, it was cut out. There was some scenes cut out, but I think that was released on HBO or something. But anyway, yeah. That was interesting. It was an interesting way of me as like saying, hey, leave it as is.
Yep. That
Yeah.
Lupin thing. Have you seen? I've actually watched this movie yet. I need to, because I love the trailer. Graphic. Have you seen the 3D version that they made?
There's a 3D version?
Yeah. It looks visually incredible. And because it's like it's still got that stylized stuff, but it's like a mix of like semi-realistic but stylized stuff, and it's just Lupin 3 the first. Maybe just look it up quickly. It looks. I'm like, this is what animation needs to be, dude. Like
You're talking about Lupin the Third?
Yes.
There's a 3D version.
Yes. You gotta look at it, dude. Like, I don't know if I need to send you the link or something, but this.
Wait, I think I saw a trailer.
Huh?
I think I saw a trailer before.
Apparently came out in 2019, so it's a full movie. So it's not like just like a test trailer.
Oh, this looks good. It looks good. I'm seeing it. But he did the animated version, I think, in the 70s. Obviously, this is not his work. This was Monkey Punch. But you can see that this inspired Cowboy Bebop, because you can see the main character, Lupin, the third, looks like Spike Spiegel.
I agree with you there. I think there's some.
And obviously, this came out way before Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like, because that reminds me is, one doesn't have to lead directly to the other, but remember there was also that style, because remember Astro Boy also fits in that time period as well.
Right.
And I love how, I'm sure if you could actually take the time, you could actually be able to see every decade of art style and how it evolves.
Yes.
Just looking at Dragon Ball Z alone, yeah.
Because obviously, when Astro Boy came out in the 60s, I believe, the animated series.
Yes.
Basically, what Osamu Tezuka was trying to emulate Disney, because he was heavily inspired by Disney at the time. Yeah.
But yeah. Well, that's already an hour and a half, so let's. I say the movie's gonna start being the shortest part of our things. So let's just jump straight in.
All right.
Because this one's gonna be longer than usual, actually. It's probably one of my longest ones.
Sure.
Cool. Anyway, Princess Mononoke. Opening image starts with Keith David narrating the universe. A world of nature, gods, and demons. We immediately see a monster made entirely of worms walking right through the forest, tearing trees down. We cut to us following a young man riding a deer with large antlers. He calls a warning and to kids and everyone around, and as he speaks at an event in the forest, then he heads off to the watchtower. Upon climbing it, we stare at the trees in like this beautiful tense moment, like some borderline Jurassic Park type ish, until we see the same creature between the trees.
Just before you continue, I like the fact that he was barefoot.
Oh yeah.
There's something about old anime that we used to watch like back in the day when we were growing up, whether it's Heidi or Anne or Tom Sawyer, where the main characters used to be barefoot and used to run a lot. I don't know if you remember that. It used to be a bit grounded. So I like seeing that, because there's a bit of a maybe it's a cultural thing, but also when I was young, I don't know about you, but when I was young, I liked running around barefoot. There was something about it. I don't know. I just wanted to mention it.
That must have been the days before glass. Your ass is braver than me, that's for sure.
No, I loved it. Yeah.
No, definitely. No, if you could be barefoot, then I would be barefoot. No, don't get me wrong. That was a fun lifestyle.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, what follows up is us getting a very interesting play on sound. Because in the beginning you get dramatic sweeping sound at first, but now we've got this. Now the tension is in, the sound is taken away, and we're only left with the sounds of nature,
Right.
along with the sound of the coming creature before it bursts out the ground.
Right.
We see this giant demon, well, this thing they call a demon, and when it steps into the sun, it separates and becomes a giant boar, only for it to be covered up again and attacks them by a head, attacks the thing and then heads to the village, which is crazy. I just thought this was a visually stunning thing. Shitaka gets ahead and tries to talk it down. Like, I just thought that was interesting way. He's trying to talk to it like like it's Steve from accounting.
Like it's a god.
Dog.
Steve from accounting.
Anyway, it chases him to see kids and goes directly after them.
Right.
Like it was this. Let's just say the smoke is rated E for everyone. Ashitaka manages to save the girls, but it goes after him and reveals the boar underneath. Desperate, realizing how close it is to the village, he kills it with an arrow despite his arm being injured when he was trying to save the girls.
Because there's with those bloodsuckers, I don't know what you call them. They try to reach to his
leeches.
Yeah, the leeches. They try to reach to what's that? Is it an antler? The huge the thing he was riding on.
It's a elk.
Yeah, the elk, the huge elk, and then so he tries to protect it by using his arm as a shield.
Yes.
Obviously, it comes to his hand. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So the event is over. The town comes to him, and a wise woman, a sage, gives him a med, some water, some special water. The same wise woman prays to the dead creature, only for the dead creature to respond.
Yes.
And then threatens them, says it'll make them pay before it dissolves.
We don't even know you from above, so when you are coming here.
Just out here saying, nah, I'm gonna get all of y'all niggas. This is dog. We are thrown directly into the universe, and then that kind of ends the scene. We're thrown directly into the universe. Do not pass, begin. Do not collect $200. Nothing is explained. Everything has been shown, but it works because all we really need is what's in front of us.
Right.
It's a fantastic opener. It's brilliant.
It truly is. And it truly, I honestly think that it truly spikes your interest because, okay, what just happened? Who is this kid? This guy was just trying to save his people, and all of a sudden now his people are warning him because they have no choice but to let him go so that he actually understands what the hell is going on, the origins of this thing.
Yeah.
And he's told that, dude, you're gonna die. Like,
yeah, we're not even there yet. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. You mean like when it's threatening them? That's what you mean when you say you're gonna die. Or you talking about the later on part? Or you talking about?
I'm talking about the later on part. But yeah, basically, the boy was just saying, "Look, y'all are gonna feel my wrath."
Yeah.
But dog, we don't even know you. Like, why are you?
Yeah. What the hell? And let's not even forget about the fact that first of all, it goes after the girls. Number one, like.
Yeah.
What makes it interesting, right, is. God, I almost get scared of using the word because of people like Ryan Johnson. They're going to overhear it and ruin it. But it subverts expectations. Number one, there's a giant monster that's trying to kill them. This nigga's trying to talk to it. Do you know what I mean? Like it might be the good guy, just a little bit upset or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's already a subversion, number one. It freaks out to the sun. That's surprising. You're like, okay, but why? Do you know what I mean? And then this man's not riding a horse, he's riding a giant antler, number one.
Yeah, that was so different, eh?
So different. All these little things it's going after him with the weapon at first, and then it sees the little girls and it's like, I want smoke, and it goes after them instead. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's all these little things are like, what's going on? What's going on?
And one thing that Studio Ghibli is famous for is creating moments of realism that other animated film studios don't do. For instance, when he bends his bow just a bit before he uses it. I don't know if you remember that scene. Yes. Even in the beginning. Like that's, I mean, when have you seen that? You know what I mean?
Your bow will be ready, yes.
Yeah, that is so amazing, man. Those small details for me are so amazing.
Definitely. I think that's pure world building. It's world building 101 right there.
Right.
Catch your attention, small things like what's going on here, what's going on here. It's creating a mystery without you realizing. It's great. It's a great opener. And then afterwards, like the woman prays to this thing before it, like that by itself. It's like this nigga was trying to kill us. Why are we out here? And not only that, but it is not even trying to be like, oh, I understand.
Yeah, like yo, thank you for doing that. You guys are pardoned. No, it's like
it's like F you guys.
I don't care. Like, I couldn't care less.
Dog. It's like, what's that Boondocks one? It left me wondering. What did he do to make them so mad?
What did he do to make them so mad? Oh, man.
Anyway, that's scene one. We move into scene two. We move into the village where a wise woman is throwing the proverbial rocks, Sangoma style. She sees a bad omen and amazingly gives a full breakdown visible in the rocks. So you can tell that this is not some made-up shit, dog.
I thought sangomas were like an African thing. When I saw that lady, I'm like, oh, dog, this is like sangoma, dog. Like sangoma. I had no idea.
Yeah, they have bones, they have rocks, man.
But it's still, you could see that like this is a sangoma. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I love how like instead of there being mysticism, right? They're just like, no, this is exactly what happened, and it's right. Okay, I know exactly what happened. I know why it happened. I know where it's happening. And it's like, okay, you saw that in the rocks.
And nobody's skeptical about that.
Like, nobody's skeptical. Like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Ishitaka shows the arm, and the rocks say that that Ishitaka first of all is a prince, number one, and Ishitaka will die because of the wound. Yeah. The wise woman has found a middle ball inside of the body, which is the cause of the chaos.
Right.
Did you know immediately that was a bullet, or did you only find out later?
You know what? The first time I saw this was in 2008. I didn't know it was a bullet. I think it only clicked when I watched it this week. I was like, wait, what? Because you know when you watch a movie and then you spend like nearly a decade before watching it again. I think the last time I saw this movie was in 2012. So
the same. That's why remember that time I was about Jurassic Park where I'm like, is that Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, exactly.
Samuel Jackson.
Exactly. Because it's been so long, and now that you're older, you understand certain things that you probably wouldn't have understood back then. So no, to answer your question, no, I didn't know it was a bullet.
But I think it actually works better if you don't know that it's a bullet in a way.
Because it's shaped like a bullet.
Yeah.
Well, it's not shaped like
it's shaped like a musket bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he's told that he must leave and never come back, which according to the exposition is a massive impact to this aged and isolated tribe, because the elders are like, oh no, he's like our only young man, and now we're about to lose him. This is
I mean, they were a big nation at a point, but you know, there was a war and they lost people, so they lost the last of their kind. Now Ashitaka has to leave and never to return.
Exactly.
And you know what I like about Ashitaka as a character is he accepts the truth for what it is very quickly and he moves on.
Yeah, true.
Because he wasn't crying. He was like, oh, okay, this is my fate. I accept it. It's fine.
Which is crazy, because I think the only time he actually has like an emotional break is maybe in the last section. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the person he is. He's almost like Snake, almost from like the Metal Gear series. Like this man is mission orientated. Yeah. Which is funny because technically what's about to happen is a disaster. And you have to remember something. You only ever see old men and little girls. You see the old woman, you see girls, old men. So it makes you wonder about this village, about its condition.
Yeah, man, it's because of like actually even when I was speaking now, I'm thinking, how will this village survive? Who will reproduce? Because these are kids.
Yeah.
Plus maybe there were some boys that we didn't see that were herding sheep somewhere.
I feel like that needs to have happened because technically, even on the watchtower, it's an old man.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is.
Damn, bro.
But I think that
those people are going to get extinct.
Basically, I think it's a theme. Because remember, it ties to, the same thing happens in the forest. With the boars, technically the same thing happens there as well.
Oh, yeah.
The loss of the boars.
Actually, we'll actually get to the boars, yeah.
So I think what it is, it's a quiet but deliberate match to the future, basically. So it's a there's 3 POVs we get. We get the village, which is
Right.
dying. We get the forest, which is dying, and then we get the other village, which is, I want to say dying. We'll have to get into that. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
He must leave and never come back, which according to the exposition, the sister shows up as he leaves and gives her the most precious gift, which is the crystal dagger,
Yeah.
before he leaves. Yeah.
She says, please don't forget me. And he's like, I'll never forget you. Just give me a second. I just want to get a pillow for my back. I know I sound old, but
Just
the chair that I'm using is not even a gaming chair. It sucks. So,
hey,
yeah.
don't worry, man. Our budget will increase one day.
Hey, don't fish. It needs to increase because, wow, what is this?
Cool. Anyway, the world building is amazing. The pacing is moving extremely fast, which makes sense. A 2-hour movie, and there's a lot happening here. So
Yeah.
there are 2 big moments of exposition. And there's actually one big moment of exposition in the scene, but it's pushing on ahead with little time for thought, and we're on to the next scene.
Right.
12 minutes in. Scene 3. Ashitaka heads to the west, the unknown lands left behind by his people to find the chaos. When he discovers fire and a village with people under attack, people are being massacred brutally, which is surprising for a movie that has ties to Disney, dog. Like, there's a Disney symbol.
Right.
I was like, Jesus.
Well, before we get that, I just want to know, how many acts do you think this movie has, bro?
That's actually a good question.
Because from this scene, this is a completely different, like it just starts feeling like it's a completely different act altogether.
I would say it depends on your definition of acts, but
Okay.
I would say yes. That first section is definitely its own act.
It's like it's a prologue.
Yeah, you could say this is a 5-act storyline. Definitely, Act 1 is here. Act 2 is when he leaves the forest, and then Act 3 is when he gets used to when he goes back to the forest with Princess, and then Act 4 is that after period, and then Act 5 is when the actual attack on the forest begins. I would say that would be the 5-act structure.
I think so. I honestly think so. You can clearly see that this is more than 3 acts.
I would say yeah. It is almost like a video game format. Like, I don't know if you pay attention to storylines of video games like that, but like video games will normally follow like a more extended 5-act structure.
Oh, no, I didn't even think of that, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he's fit in a 30-hour video game, at least a logical one. Maybe put it like that. Stuff like The Last of Us, God of War, and stuff like that will normally follow like a more like that. Games are like, I think games that make a mistake are ones that don't follow that kind of structure.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically he just becomes, you could say, a victim. Not necessarily a victim, but he becomes entrenched in something that he knows nothing about. He sees the villagers being killed.
Yeah.
And then they point their arrows at him, and he's like, hey, he warns them, and that's what I like about Ashitaka. He will kill you if he has to, but he warns you first, like, please don't do this.
Yeah.
When they don't listen, then he has no.
Doesn't want to attack anyone, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then but that doesn't mean he won't hurt anyone. I agree, and it doesn't mean he won't defend innocent people because he sees a woman being attacked.
Yeah.
And that's when his arm starts to take over.
Yes.
It goes full, like, I almost want to say Venom or Blue Beetle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just goes and like Popeye's spinach, dog, and this rips a person's arms off with an arrow.
Dude, I think the only thing that saves this movie from being extremely like this movie would have been on an R18 rating is that the blood, there's not enough blood.
Yeah. Even with the arms they chopped off. Yeah.
Yeah, people are beheaded, their arms are chopped off, there's no blood. Or
that's out here shifting dead bodies, there's no blood. I agree with you, dude. And the way the pig dies is brutal when you actually think about it.
Yeah.
Both pigs. It is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
In fact, the only time there's real blood is when he gets hit. That's the real time you actually see real, like, proper blood.
100%.
It really makes you wonder about the Lady Bonnie thing in the arm situation. Like, do you think there's a link there, like some kind of thematic thing with the arm? But we'll get there. Anyway, yeah, Tropical Woman. The whole scene only takes 2 minutes. Um, but it's brutal. It's quick. He doesn't even go to the village. He just leaves.
Yeah, he leaves because they started throwing the arrows at him. That's why he's like, no, let me just depart from here.
Yeah, he's just out.
But he did enough to save the village.
Yeah, he would have loved to have helped people, but he can't. Not without massacring everyone there. So yeah. So yeah, we're in a new, larger, somewhat peaceful village now. People are in shock at his arrival. Like, he stands out. He tries to buy rice, but the seller freaks out when he tries to pay with a rock. But a monk, following the commotion, tells him that it's not a rock; it's solid gold.
Voiced by Billy Bob Thornton.
Dog.
Just to give people background, because we didn't go into these people's careers. We just spoke about Billy Crudup and Claire Danes. So Billy Bob Thornton was in Monsters Ball. He was in Entourage the movie. He was in Bad Santa. I think it was Bad Santa 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Was he in Bandits? I think he was in Bandits as well. Am I forgetting another significant role?
I'm getting a bunch of stuff. The major ones, definitely. Sling Blade was, I think that's one that really made him famous, of course.
Which one is that?
He's like a murderer, basically. He's like a psycho murderer, basically, but he's like mentally ill.
There's one with Charlize Theron as his wife.
Mr. Woodcock is the one I think a lot of people would know. The astronaut farmer, I think that's the one of Charlize Theron. Let me just confirm that.
With Patrick Swayze as well.
No, it's not that one. But the astronaut farmer is one I flippin' love.
I don't know that one.
It's the one where he's literally a farmer, but he's like, I was once an astronaut and I want to build a spaceship, and he does. And it's a beautiful storyline.
Oh, flip. That's that one. I don't know it.
Armageddon is a fantastic one, of course.
Okay.
Now, which is the one okay, Bandits is the one with Bruce Willis. There we go.
Yes. No, I'm talking about the one with Charlize Theron. Just give me a second. It's Charlize Theron. I think we spoke about, when we were talking about Tully, we mentioned Charlize Theron's filmography, and we said that after Devils Were Proud, after The Devil's Advocate, she did that movie. Let me see, Billy Bob.
Oh yeah, Billy Bob was in The Judge. He was Billy Bob in The Judge. He was the lawyer he was the DA in The Judge. I remember that. I'm trying to think of the one you're talking about as well, but I'm drawing a blank.
And Patrick Swayze. I'll tell you just now. I think it's called Waking Up in Reno. Yeah, Waking Up in Reno.
Yeah, that's what I've heard of, but I've never actually seen. I know what you're talking about.
I think we better review it.
If it's slow enough, we'll add it on your list.
If it's not slow enough, yeah. Because I think this is definitely a Kuto movie for sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to think now.
Sorry, yeah, but that's basically the movies, I think. I think that should suffice. I mean, it's a lot anyway. But yeah, so basically he convinces the people in the village that it's gold and it's even worth more than the rice that he bought.
Yep, by far. To the point where the lady's like tries to fight him for the gold back.
Yeah, because it's like, no, I can take it from your hands if you don't. And she's like, no, give me back my gold.
Definitely. And then Ashitaka, who's like not game for any of this, he doesn't have time. He's on a mission. Just
he doesn't say anything to anybody.
He doesn't say anything to anyone. He's not here to make friends. Yeah. It's a short scene. I love it though. This whole thing takes less than a minute. It's a short scene introducing us to the monk. By the way he looks, his wily eyes, it makes you wonder if maybe he's a bit of a con man.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like, first time viewing, you're like, I feel like this man's either very clever or there's sus going on here.
Yeah. But also, just to say that, going back to the character of Ashitaka is not your typical main character, you know. Because for me, it's like the fact that he behaved like that, even though he had given, obviously he's rich, but I feel like he's not a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks a lot about his leadership. Like, had he become king one day, you could tell what kind of a leader he would have been. A
Definitely.
warrior, and someone who's not a people pleaser. Yeah.
Definitely.
He doesn't seek external validation from anybody.
It still gives you that strong Snake vibes, I think. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Give me Metal Gear. So I
No.
feel like I'm saying Snake and you're blanking on
Yeah,
me.
no, I don't know anything
Alright,
about
fair
Snake.
enough. Fair enough.
But I'm sure Metal Gear Solid players might know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I have no idea.
Have you seen Ninja Scroll?
Yes, I have seen the film, right?
Yes, the film.
Yes, I have.
Does the monk not a little bit remind you of that old man?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. The old monk in that one.
Yes. That
Yes.
poisons him in the beginning and then
There's a
uses him as
correlation
the
there.
fool. Yes.
There is a correlation there, yeah.
Like there's a strong correlation right there. But anyway, yeah, that's that scene. Next scene, the monk follows him, and it shows that there are some bandits that are following. So
Yeah.
instead of fighting Ishitaka, not a fighter, so he just runs straight away.
Yeah.
Um,
Because the monk is like, yeah, let's outrun them.
yeah.
Because basically they wanted to kill Ashitaka because he has gold, so they're assuming that he has more gold, so they want to kill him for it.
Exactly. He's like, let's just run away, and Ishitaka's fine with that. And I think the fact that Ishitaka talks to him at all, kind of reflects that Ishitaka is kind of willing to. I think the fact that when he says "let's run away," right? I think it's a clear piece of dialogue because what it does is it actually. Remember, Ashitaka's ignoring him.
Yeah.
And then when he says "let's run away," I think if he said "let's stay and fight," Ashitaka would have run away instead.
You think so?
I think so. Because I don't think, because remember, Ashitaka's not looking for a fight.
Yeah.
And he's in a giant elk. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I think it's a moment where Ashitaka's like, okay, I'm willing to listen to this guy talk. Because if he done something else, I don't think he'd listen. Because think about it, why else would Ashitaka even listen to this guy? Because remember, Ashitaka's not being friendly, number one.
Yeah.
So why listen to the monk at all? It's because the monk was like, yeah, let's run away instead. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was like a little quick moment of connection there, which adds value to the scene. Then we jump to nighttime, and now they're still together.
Right.
So the one leads to the other one, I think.
Right.
Otherwise, Ashitaka would have just run away from the bandits and the monk.
Yeah. Yeah.
But instead, he stays with the monk because I think there's a moment of connection there where he realizes like there's a usefulness to each other here. Anyway, it's nighttime. The monk talks.
That's a great analogy. I think you broke it down better than I ever would have. I didn't even really think of it like that. Yes, I did see that Ashitaka was ignoring the monk, but I didn't think that Ashitaka wouldn't have agreed to kill those guys had the monk said, let's kill them. I don't think I would. I wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, I think he would have looked down on the monk, would have ignored the monk from then onwards.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I just think that's a little moment of, again, kind of cuts back to that Naruto discussion we had before, and the TikTok video I made about the decisions being made because of that one fight in Naruto and other things. I think that was like a moment of decision. That's one of my passions, by the way, to find quiet moments of decision. Kind of like The Godfather. You've seen the first Godfather movie?
Yeah.
There's a moment in The Godfather where Al Pacino's character is talking to the police chief. Say it again? Michael. Yeah, Michael is talking to the police chief and the opposing family head, the other mafia guy that basically has that police chief under control. Yeah. And there's a moment where he has to decide to shoot them. And if you
in the restaurant, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and you kind of have to pay attention to the scene to see exactly what moment does Michael decide, yeah, I'm definitely going to kill these guys. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Another example would be Tarantino, not Hateful Eight, Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I was going to get there because the more you were talking, the more I was thinking about the Fassbender, Diane Kruger.
Yes,
the scene, I think they were playing cards or something. I don't remember. They were playing a game. Yeah.
They were playing that weird animal game where you got to try and guess the animal, but instead it's a card. So you got to try and guess the card on your head, and then it's like the guy was like, it's got to be 3 or 3, and then if you watch the scene, you can actually see this guy being like, oh shit, and like. So stuff like that is a science. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, anyway.
Because it's written in the script, but it's not narrated or even said in the movie. Exactly. But you can see it. You can see what's written on paper. If that makes
Yes,
sense. Yeah.
exactly. That's the beauty of visual mediums.
Mm,
Anyway, it's nighttime, and the monk talks about seeing Ashitaka fight. So he must have seen him at that village.
right.
And Ashitaka explains what he's doing, and about the boar, which the monk had seen. So
Mm,
the monk had seen the boar. The monk is in after hearing about the curse, the monk is indifferent about the situation
right.
of his curse because, in his opinion, yeah, shit happens. The
Yeah.
world is dark for everyone.
Right.
The situation isn't special, which I think is surprisingly dark for a monk. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I thought, hot damn, you know what I mean? Like,
Wait, what did the monk do?
he basically was indifferent about the guy's curse story, where he's like, yeah, we're all cursed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so what, man? Like, yeah, he was like, dude, look, this is life. Like, people are cursed, villages die,
Yeah.
like, people get extinct. You know, your story. And he's saying this while giving him soup or something. I don't you know what I mean? And I think he also said something about your elk, and
Yes.
it seems like your tribe is from the.
Yes, I was getting that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Please say it. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as it turns out, after that, the monk starts giving out some mystery stuff. As it turns out, the monk knows about the village,
Hmm.
from just by looking at the red elk and the bowl that he's using.
Yeah.
Because it turns out those are all indicators of a specific village that is
Yeah.
isolated.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's like, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. The secret
yeah,
is safe with me. You're like, this guy, you can see, like, they just show it immediately that this guy is sneaky. He knows a lot of stuff.
yep. But
Yeah.
for some bizarre reason, he doesn't know about the metal ball. That's the one thing he doesn't know about. He knows about everything else except for the metal ball.
Right.
Um, So that one is surprised. I think that one's Ashtanga, of course, doesn't get it, but I think you as the audience are supposed to understand that there's a gap here. You know what I mean?
Did he really not know though? Or was he just
Of course, he
pretending?
knew. He knows what a bullet is. He
Yeah.
100% knows what a bullet is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the fact that he didn't know is what stands out because he appears. How would you know about the ball but you don't know what a bullet is? It's impossible.
Right.
So it's a clever little thing, just a clue for the audience almost.
Yeah.
The monk also basically sets up this man's mission like a video game. This is what you'll need to be doing, dog. And
Yeah. Once you were saying the Ninja Scroll guy, because that's basically what it is. Yeah.
basically, yeah, he says he sets up the mission about the spirit of the forest and where it is. The next morning, Ashitaka takes off, having been fully briefed. Clearly, the clever monk doesn't even get out of bed, knowing exactly where this kid will be.
Yeah. Because he says something like we'll meet later or something. See you
Yeah,
later.
100%. And that's the scene. Okay, now there's a crazy amount of heavy lifting in this scene. Like
Mhm.
holy shit. This is probably the slowest part of the story,
Mhm.
especially from what you've seen so far. But as we've talked about before about tools of exposition, this is a tool where they're using mystery and a playfulness to try and ease the medicine of exposition that they're feeding us. Because
Okay.
they're giving us a pile of information, but they're giving us mystery at the same time.
Okay.
The playfulness is limited, but what really matters, because it's only one-sided, but what really matters is the mystery about who is this monk and how does he keep knowing these things, and
Yeah.
why would he suddenly not know about the one thing? It's a nice way of like letting the medicine go down because otherwise you would choke on this pill. This sudden block of information when you had all this.
Yeah, a lot of exposition, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a nice way of making the pill go down easier because it would be dry if it wasn't for the mystery. Let's put it like that.
Right.
It's the most driest. That's the thing. Popeye's biscuit with no drink, with no beverage.
Yeah. Because it'd be like, how convenient is it that we meet a stranger who knows everything about everything?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
1 second.
Sure.
Cool. So we jump into a massive movement of worker and people pushing forwards in extremely heavy rains.
Mm.
It's like a flippin' typhoon. The group notices a pair of wolves coming for them. And they start talking about gunpowder and start pulling out strange weapons like tiny cannons on sticks. There is a kid on one of the wolves. And you think it's like, I thought it was like a baby or something, dude. Like, he looks so small compared to the wolves.
Mhm.
And they start firing the guns, and the wolves are chased off. And then we get a fast shot of Ashitaka hearing the gunshots.
Yeah. So basically, I guess we could say this is the introduction of Lady Eboshi because we
Yes.
see her, and who is her second in command again? What's the guy's name?
Starts with the G, the gum 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 gum. Gauching gum.
Gonzo, no?
The Gonzo, yes.
Gonza.
Gonzo.
Wait, is it really Gonza?
Let me check now. Gonza.
Yeah, Gonza, yeah.
So Gonza. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what they're doing is that they're using is it ox or something? I forgot.
Oh yeah, oxen, yeah.
Yeah, they're using oxen to take, I think it's rice or something. Is it rice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I so laugh about sometimes world building. So I sometimes I hate TV shows like Halo, where it's like, okay, but how do you guys eat? How does this situation survive? Like, for example, I think it's really clever because, yes, they live in the forest, but it's in the middle of nowhere, and they got to feed this community. So how they feed the community is by making money and then using that money to buy food.
Yes.
And the transportation of the food is what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's actually something when I watched this, I'm like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. The economics of the day.
Yes.
Like, there's no way you can make a good story without considering the economics of the day. It's nearly impossible. I guess that's why even with Game of Thrones, it was important for us to know why people want to be at King's Landing.
Yeah.
Right? Why it was so important that people wanted the Iron Throne. It was because of the economics of the day.
Yes.
So it's the same thing here. Lady Eboshi, one of the biggest debates in this entire film is whether Lady Eboshi is evil or not. But when you really think about it, she's not evil. It's just that she's she's doing what she can to save this village, right? Even if it means doing bad things. So the fact that she has to feed an entire village of okay, maybe we'll get into it. Maybe I'm going
to get into it because I feel like it's a more complicated answer there because I agree she's not evil until maybe the last moment. There's a moment where you're like, okay, but this one's just you. And even Lady Eboshi says, yeah, I'm doing this for me, basically.
Yeah.
So I think that part we'll get into. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
But right now, this is Lady Eboshi basically. Because first of all, it doesn't get explained that she's doing it for the people right now. She's just saying, look, we got to go after these wolves, basically.
Yeah.
And these are people behind. So yeah. Anyway, you're saying?
Oh, I was just saying that I think it's just a note for anybody who's writing anything that you need to consider the economics of the day. You have to have at least an understanding of the economics of your world, the world building that you're doing, the time period and the economics. Very important.
Yeah. I think it also adds more richness to your storyline. Like, for example, you talk about Game of Thrones. Them talking to that bank, the World Bank in Game of Thrones, to try and get some more money to survive. Yes. Everyone kissing House Lannister's ass because that's where all the gold is. Yes.
The kissing who?
The Lannister's ass because that's where all the gold is. Lannister's
like, for instance, in Naruto, there are no cars there, right?
Yeah.
So the ninjas use trees as it's basically their way to get from point A to trees, bridges. But then you also understand how Konoha makes money. The Konoha makes money through missions. People come there for different levels of missions.
Yeah.
And then they pay. I guess you could say they pay the ninja ticket back to the village. Yeah.
Village, yes. And there are nations that can't do missions. They specialize in other things.
Yes.
Steel manufacturing places, wood manufacturing places,
building bridges or whatever. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's brilliant. Exactly. So that adds value to the story. But I will say this as a writer. It can also potentially, you have to be careful because it can bog down your story. Because I've had that effect.
Right.
You spend so much time building around it, your story almost cancels itself out. So sometimes what you have to do is just shut up and write. And then what you'll do is you'll put that stuff in the edit.
Afterwards, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes, I believe it was T.S. Eliot who said, write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, if you can do both, do both.
Yes.
But if you can't do both, don't be, because now you end up just like J.R. Martin, where you're stuck. And now we're on book 5. It's been 20 years. We're still waiting for book 5.
I don't know if you know these guys. I think is it College Humor guys? Or the other guys, I forgot. I mean, there's a lot of them.
There's Funny or Die, and then there's College Humor, and there's a few of them.
Isn't that like the Rap Zone or something? I forgot. But one of them has this thing.
I was talking about, yes.
I think one of them has this thing where they show George R. Martin. The devil comes to him and is like, "Yo, since you sold your soul, it's time for us to go." And he's like, remember the terms and conditions of our agreement is that after I do books 7, 6, and 7, that's when I can die. The devil's like, "Damn it!" So they're making it seem as if we're not getting those other books is because George doesn't want to die yet.
That's a nice one compared to the South Park one. Have you seen the South Park one, the Black Friday South Park one?
No.
George R. Martin, the dragons are coming, guys. The dragons are coming. I promise.
Yeah.
Have you seen that South Park one?
No, I haven't.
Man, it's one of the best ones ever. George R. Martin shows up and is like, guys, I promise, the dragons are coming. I promise.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm sure they don't believe him. They're like, dude, you've been saying this.
like after a while, they're like, yeah, definitely watch it. But yeah, anyway, back to the thing. The gunners, they chase them off. The gunners laugh, but the woman in charge, Eboshi, simply warns that those were the pups.
Yeah.
The mother shows up, and you can just see she's something else.
It's huge.
Dude. And she like wrecks everyone there, and then just before she gets to Eboshi, she gets shot and is blasted off the cliff.
Yeah.
And the caravan moves on, leaving the injured behind, man. Like, that's deep.
Yeah, because I think one of them says, ladyeboshi, should we go fetch them? She's like, no, let's continue, they're dead.
Yeah, and I get it on multiple levels. Because first of all, in the rain, and that's rice. Number 2, they need to get the shipment there, otherwise people are going to starve.
Yes.
And you never know if those wolves are coming back, so you got to keep going.
That's what this movie, man. This, like, as a leader, that's the best decision that you can make.
Yeah.
Because those guys understood the risks anyway. They knew that if they were going to go past that point, the wolves were going to come and intervene. So they knew what was coming.
Exactly. And what's nice, even better, is later on you find out it's not just the wolves that are trying to stop them, man.
Yeah.
It's not just the wolves.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway. Because it's like 3 different animals that are really, really angry at ladyeboshi.
I don't talk about animals, talk about people.
Oh, even people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of characters that have an issue with ladyeboshi, guys.
See, that's the thing. I swear to God, this thing is more Game of Thrones than the later seasons of Game of Thrones.
Dude.
More elements. And it's a 2-hour movie, dog.
It's a 2-hour movie, dog.
But yeah.
Crazy.
I think that's why the pacing is so insane. Remember, this is only 3 minutes. This whole scene, 3 minutes.
100%.
Anyway, the following morning, we're at the base of the cliff. Ashitaka finally arrives at the base. He sees the injured who'd fallen off and sets to work to try to save them from the water.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, he sees the injured wolf guard. Remember, those things are called guards. Yeah. And the girl that was on the smaller wolves shows up and starts sucking the blood from the wound the wolf has suffered.
That was so graphic, hey?
Dog, that was alarming.
And you know, the thing about, or that I like about this is they don't beat around the bush. They show us and show Ashitaka, right? That, dude, your covert tactics don't work on us. We know the forest better than you do. So you think you're hiding, Chief? We already saw you.
It was like they might have just had an icon over his head, like bing.
Dude. Because you could tell the mother was talking to her son. And after that, you could see his son stopped sucking the blood and started looking at the Ashitan. Like, wow.
And they just bounce.
Hey, bro. And then that's when he just comes out and says, introduces himself and all of that. Yeah.
And they are not feeding him, dog.
Dude, they don't care.
Dog, they are not feeding him.
They didn't even answer him, bro. They
just bounce. They scout and bounce, yeah.
They just bounced.
Dog. But yeah, he hears a scream And then that brings him back to the other people where he sees a ghost creature, which turns out to be tree spirits.
Yes.
But the people he saved thinks that they're something terrible. I think this is a great way to show the difference between the city people and the village people like him. The village people understand, no, these are not bad omens, guys. These are good omens.
Yes.
And the city people are like, it's gonna kill us.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Like you can tell that he's a very cultured and traditional man.
Definitely. 24 minutes in, they're walking through the forest. The guy who was saved is freaking out. What's his name? Kuhuro. What's it? What's this guy's name? Kuruhao?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. They keep moving.
Is it called? Just give me a second. For people that really.
Kuroko. There we go. Yes. They keep moving despite how heavy the guy is carrying is.
Yeah, because you could see that Ashitaka was sweating. Eh?
God, this man was
But
actually.
mind, he's still cursed. You know. Yeah, he's getting weaker, obviously.
Exactly, which is interesting because he gets stronger later on. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep moving. They start to see wolf tracks. Then they see a different creature. They see far fresher tracks. In hindsight, was that the monkeys or was that the pig?
The pig? No, it was not the monkey, not the pig. It was the forest spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a spinning POV shot done in silence, which
Yeah.
is surprisingly tense because you think something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Then you see some elk creatures walking, and then one of them notices the cursed arm freaks out.
Yes.
And shove it into the water to cool it down. Of course, later on you figure out that's not an elk, but for now you think it's an elk. Definitely.
I think what it basically shows you is, I might get a bit biblical on this one, but I just want to say, you know, when Jesus meets this madman of Gadara in the Bible, right?
Uh-huh.
The madman immediately says, it becomes frantic. It's like, oh my goodness, Jesus, you're here, the Son of God, you're here. Have you come before my time? So it's like the demon, right, that was on Ashitaka's arm,
yes,
could sense the presence of the forest spirit.
yes.
That's why it became so frantic, because all of a sudden, Ashitaka was in great pain that he couldn't explain. Like, he didn't know what the issue was, because the only thing that he wanted was to provide water to the guy who was not even talking.
Oh yes.
Who was half dead, basically. Yeah. So I think that was an interesting take. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like when a cat sees a dog. You know the reaction between one of them. That's basically what that was. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I'm just touching my.
You're charging your background.
I'm touching my laptop, and then that happened.
Turn it back on.
I'm trying.
Oh. Anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah. Let me do this. Yeah, please continue.
Kuruko is freaking out about his reaction, but Ashitaka simply hides what's happening to him. He doesn't even know about the arm, which makes sense. I don't know. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to tell you, hey, by the way, there's a demon on my arm.
Oh, I don't know you from above, so dog.
Dog, I'm not going to tell you there's a demon curse on my arm.
No.
So, yeah. I just think this is a nice little, like, now technically this doesn't follow the typical format, so I don't want to call this the fun and games type area, but at the same time it kind of feels like the fun and games section of a scene, of a storyline where you kind of get to experience the majesty of the land. And also we get the setup of the arm that is dangerous, not just for people but the creatures as well. So not only will it freak out around people, it'll freak out around animals too. So that kind of gives you a little, okay, this thing's on anyone's side. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway. Next scene, they start feeling better, like immediately, and they're out of the forest only to see a super industrialized village with smoke coming out all the time. The people of the village start to cause a fuss as Kuruko comes out the forest. Kuruko says to look after Ashitaka.
There's something wrong with my settings because it's not.
The fact that it keeps turning off is strange.
I don't know what's going on.
Ashitaka for saving them, but the leader approaches through the forest and is furious. A woman appears and scolds everyone and thanks Ashitaka, which de-escalates the suspicion for a moment. The lady appears and thanks Ashitaka and asks to meet him later.
Right.
This is a great scene because it does so much heavy lifting with no slowness involved. No one can, yeah.
Sorry, just before we go into basically Lady Eboshi thanking him, we just need to mention that the second in command was like suspicious, you know.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't just buy it immediately. He was like, no, no, there's something wrong. There's something shady about this guy. You
Yeah.
know, why is that? Why is it that we? Just give me a second. Yeah. Why is it that you just happen to be there when these guys needed help? You know.
And also, how did you survive the forest that no one's supposed to survive?
Exactly.
But yeah, no one can talk about the dialogue itself, but the dialogue is very interesting. I don't mind it at all because it sets up the world, it sets up the environment, the ease with which they deal with death, the love, the love of community, the community has for each other. Most definitely, they have for the village itself. There's so much love and care kind of being shown right now.
Right.
I love it.
You can continue. I think you were talking about the village.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, we're talking about the dialogue, but it sets things up. Cool. The next scene. Now we're in like the third act now.
Right.
Though one could argue it's really the third of 5 acts, not the third of 3 acts.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd still be in the fun and game section of act.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even be in the midpoint, so yeah, it would be stuck in the fun and game section, and you can clearly tell this isn't really a fun and game section. Like, I guess one could argue if you were to crack it down, if you were to leave it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Then yeah, we're safely in Act 3 of 5. Okay. If you were to crack it down to act, if you insist on leaving it as a 3-act structure, then you have no choice but to leave this in the fun and game section, and just be like, which is an awkward thing to call it. But then again, you could still call it that, where it ends with the drama in the middle being the midpoint. So it still kind of works out if you want to paint it as a 3-act structure, but the way you call it the fun and game section feels weird. So structuring matters when you name structuring things.
Would you say it's the fun and games section because of Koroku's comic relief moments, maybe?
No, because of remember, fun and games doesn't specifically mean fun.
Okay.
We discussed this with Prisoners, where we talked about how the actual part where the man is doing actual detective work is the fun and game section, where he starts to chase leads, and he starts to thingamajiggy, and he starts to like talk to people, chasing leads, going over clues. That's the fun and game section of Prisoners.
Okay. All right.
Because it's you seeing what the story is about. This man actually gets to flex his muscles.
Right.
One could say that he kind of does that here. It's definitely one of the few times that this man's at his most knowledgeable and skillful in this section.
Oh, Ashitaka.
Yeah, so probably just think about it, a lot of it is out of his hands once you pass the midpoint. Have you noticed? But in this section, he's at his most talented. He's at his most knowledgeable.
Right.
But then after this, he kind of goes out of his hands. So it feels like if you wanted to be more comfortable as a writer, you'd break it into 5 acts. But I feel like if you're experienced enough, you can still call this the fun and game section.
Oh, okay. But also, this goes back to, I don't know if I was talking to you about this, saying that, I think I was talking to you about this, that I like projects where the main character doesn't necessarily, okay, let me put it like this. The world doesn't revolve around the main character. The main character finds himself in the world and now has to see how they can, contribute to whatever is already happening. I'll give you an example: Harry Potter, Naruto. Like there were certain things that were already happening in the story. Just so happens that they were born in the story and they try to sort of change what they can about the situations that they're in. Found that fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this thing doesn't just revolve around them like it's some AI kind of thing. No, I understand what you're saying fully.
Yeah, when things revolve around the character, that's most of the stories that we watch are based on that, where like Star Wars, for instance, it's not about Luke per se, it's about like Luke understanding that there's already this war going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fits in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Carrying on. Next scene. It's night. We see rice that had been fought. You see the rice that had been fought for being spread to the people to feed the people. In this dialogue, we discover how the world works, and the entire village exposits in a very fun way. Definitely a smoother display than even the monk scene, as we see the ladies who are like all like loosely dressed, which is kind of funny because you find out they're all like prostitutes later on, and they're all like just having fun with life. We start talking about Lady Eboshi, who turns out to be a kind woman who took over and rescued all the brothel women and
Yes.
used them to refine iron and
Right.
separate the duties between men and women, which is
And
why there are so many active women in such a large group. Yeah.
those women actually seem a lot happier
Yeah.
than they previously were, even though we don't know how they were treated previously. You just see with how they interact with Ashitaka that they seem to be a lot happier than the
Yeah.
rest.
Seen Blue Eye Samurai, if you've seen Samurai Champloo, I feel like you understand the life of a brothel worker.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What else uses brothels? Actually, no, never mind. We see that iron is how they survive, digging it up and selling it to buy rice for the village. So
Right.
they produce tools, and they use that to produce money, and they use the money to buy food. And that's how they feed themselves. That's how the economy flows.
Right.
We see that the iron bullet came from Lady Eboshi. We see that they are happy that the boar god is dead. We see why they clash with the boar god and the people of and why the clash happened.
Yes.
This is everything Ashitaka needed to know before the meeting.
And it's amazing, because they do it in such a way that doesn't seem like Ashitaka is being maybe invasive or something. Like all this happens naturally.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like he's being a detective or something. It's just,
Exactly.
yeah, it's just like the more he gets exposed to these people, the more it's as if it's written in the stars that he was, because of his good nature, helping that person those two people that he found by the riverside, just so happened to be the people that can provide him with the answers that he needed.
And also, yeah, they're welcoming, happy people, so that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
That these people, there's nothing to hide for them. They're welcoming and happy.
Yes.
I think it's fantastic, definitely.
But you see, that's just the position, because these people serve Lady Eboshi.
Mm-hmm.
These happy-go-lucky people, these people that seem so happy, serve this lady who's portrayed as this, or who seemingly seems like is not a good person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And still show the misery of death. Well, I mean, actually, no, you could say it's very limited, the misery of death, but they still talk about maybe some of the people that didn't get saved. You know what I mean? Like they're grateful for the people that were saved, and they're sad about the people that weren't saved, but there's still a positive energy, even though people died. But and also don't forget, it's also a nice juxtaposition to the people from the other village who were at first suspicious of him. Remember? First of all, he was attacked by the warriors of the other village. In the other village, everyone was suspicious of him.
When he had the gold, yes.
Yeah. So it's a very big shift for him as well. Like these people seem like they probably seem more like the village from his home than you know what I mean? Probably gets a bit of a hominess because.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, anyway, he gets to know everything he needs to know for the meeting with Eboshi, which is like a big deal. Cool. The people of the village are digging into the forest. We even get a flash of the boar destroying the village. Before Lady Eboshi shows up, we see the fire as the boar is chased away. Then we're back to reality, and Ashitaka is pissed and clutching his arm. His sympathy for people has already been established by him saving people on multiple occasions.
Right.
Saved that woman in the first scene, and he saved Koroko. So we know he's got compassion for people.
Yes.
He save people. He doesn't hurt people. But now he also loves the forest and the animals.
Yes.
So when these people are out here being saved, but then also attacking the forest.
I honestly don't know what religion this is, but I do know there's certain religions that uh, acknowledge that all life is sacred.
Like Buddhists and those guys.
Yes, I'm assuming. I just didn't want to say it, but I'm assuming that it's probably the Buddhist philosophy, because even the way he was talking to that boy as if it's a god. So us getting the backstory of that boy that he killed, and how it got to be the way it is, it does piss him off. But also makes me. But Ashitaka is not a vegetarian though, so he's not
Oh,
a.
yeah. I don't think it's directly tied to Buddhism, but I think that whole animal, I think it's its own. This is its own religion, where the gods are actual gods, but then these guys don't treat the gods as gods. They treat them as like level boss monsters in a video game. It's like the
Yeah.
universe is a video game, whereas the one guy treats them as deities, the other one treats them as boss level fights.
Ah, right.
You know what I mean? So it's the same things that are being treated differently.
Yeah.
And Ashitaka is, of course, highly offended at that idea.
Yes.
Which is ironic because they don't treat these things as gods, but Lady Eboshi actually does. But she's like, F them anyway.
Yeah, I don't care if they're gods. I'm gonna kill them.
Like,
yeah.
like she has enough understanding to have reverence, she just doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is quite interesting, because it's just that we don't know anything about Lady Boshi, her background or anything. It just makes me wonder. I mean, she's just a boss dog. I guess she's just a boss dog.
Like, I think in a normal Western thing, there'd be a story behind this.
Yeah.
Like what's his face, Captain Hook and the crocodile that ate his arm.
Yes. Yes.
Like there'd be a story as to why she's specifically mad at God.
Thanks to Peter Pan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There needs to be something.
Yes.
Now, I think that's an interesting question because at the same time, because I feel like this ties to what happens later on, where you're like, okay, but then why are we doing this, Lady Eboshi?
Yes.
Because now we've gone beyond the point of you just trying to save the village. So, am I missing something, Lady Eboshi? Is there a scene missing? Is there dialogue missing? But yeah, we'll get to that. I just want to put on it.
I think I have an answer for it. Maybe it's not it might not be satisfactory to you, but I think I have an answer.
Definitely. I want to hear this. Anyway, yeah, he's pissed. Anyway, it's clear that he holds the gods in high regard, so he's of course, I mean, hell, they were attacking his village and he was still out to try to talk to this thing.
Yes.
So yeah, he's furious.
Right.
Scene ends with him talking about how he imagines that poor boar must have died. Like the village people kind of don't really catch on. It's kind of surprised as he says that, like he imagines, like he has sympathy for the boar, and like you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think also this is where his hand was actually operating on its own, because it wanted to reach his sword, so that it kills Lady Eboshi, and he was stopping the hand from actually doing that. And the Lady Eboshi actually saw it. It's like, oh, so that cursed one actually wants to kill me, doesn't it?
That's the next scene, but yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the next scene, yes.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, the scene ends. This is a great scene because it blows through a lot of information, gets a lot done. It does a lot of heavy lifting, but it does it quick and smooth. We set up a clash of interests. We set up all our moving pieces in a way.
Right.
All of this is set up before we meet Lady Eboshi, because we don't want to be asking Lady Eboshi a bunch of questions. I feel like we want to just get straight into it, which is very interesting, actually. I don't think a lot of stories would have done it like that. Anyway, next scene, we know everything, and we finally meet the lady. She asks him about his purpose, and he gets straight to it, showing the cursed arm and the bullet. She laughs at his purpose for being there, and they head off to show the village in action.
Yeah.
The mega structures designed to melt iron. He's led into her quarters. In the quarters, we see her building rifles.
Right.
Lady Ishitaka is absolutely appalled by this. And his arm, like you said, his arm acts out trying to strike her down. And the lepers, of all things, start to freak out, but he holds it back because he understands that would not be enough to help the curse.
Yeah, because one of the lepers is like, we humbly ask you not to kill Lady Eboshi, because Lady Eboshi has done a lot for us. Yeah. I think I would also want to say that there's a part where Ladyeboshi is like, no, let me tell you all my secrets. And the second in command is like, why? Why are you Gonzas?
Yeah,
Like,
why are you doing this? What the hell?
yes.
Who is this nigga?
Yeah, like, who is this guy? I think this is something similar to Game of Thrones, where a man would come to Daenerys, and what's that guy's name? Is it Do something? The guy who calls her my queen, whatever, who serves her. What's his name again?
Captain Friendzone. What's his name?
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Sometimes he would just marvel at how Daenerys just like is intrigued by this man that she just met. So I feel like it's the same way here with Gonza. It's like, why this nigga? Like,
what is happening right now?
yes, I'm sure that if this was a live action series or story, Ashitaka probably would have had sex with Ladyeboshi.
If it's a Steven Seagal movie.
I think I could be wrong, but usually in cases like this,
maybe in the past, I think it would be too quick. But I hear what you're saying though, because I think what it is I think I don't want to write for them, but I think what it is Lady Eboshi acknowledges that this nigga just walked through an entire forest with 2 people on his back.
Yes. Yes.
Remember, she's someone whose entire business it is to look after the weak.
Yes.
And there's this nigga out here being strong like a motherfucker.
Yes.
But you could argue that strong recognizes strong.
That's basically what I wanted to say. That it's even though she's more powerful because she has people behind her.
Yeah.
And she has no idea that this guy's a prince.
Mm-hmm.
But she recognizes the power that he has.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm saying. They probably would have slept together because that would have probably been attractive to someone like Lady Eboshi. If that makes sense.
I agree with you on one level. I don't think they would have had sex together though. I think there would be an attraction potentially, but I think people who use sex as a weapon, definitely. But I don't think Lady Eboshi is the kind of person who uses sex as a weapon, I think you'd have to establish you'd have to justify that, in my opinion.
As a story writer.
Yes. I think you'd have to justify it. Because in terms of Lady Eboshi, one who could argue she's a general, number one, definitely.
Yes.
She's a scientist, she's a general, but she's not as far as I can tell, she's not a femme fatale. Yes, the rifles. It's her knowledge that built those rifles. Okay. It's her knowledge that built the forge. Remember, the forge didn't exist before.
Right.
So she's a logistics expert, she's a scientist, and she's a general.
But I mean, still a woman at the end of the day. I do get that she's not a femme fatale.
Okay, but now again, in the year 2023, you can't just say she's a woman, therefore. You'd have to explain why. I mean,
but this movie came out in 90-something, dog. But I do hear what you're saying. But I do, okay.
You have to explain. If you did that in today's writing, as a writer from one writer to another, if you did that today, you'd have to explain why she did that.
Okay, I think you're thinking about today's terms. I get you. I'm thinking in general.
And plus, even in general, one could argue in olden day writing, they'd say, why is she a slut? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anybody could have thought that she was a slut.
She smashed on the first day.
No. If you're paying attention to who Lady Eboshi is and who she's leading, we could all conclude that there's no man that is like Ashitaka at this point in the story. Do you agree?
Remember, she hasn't actually met him yet. She's only seen that she's strong.
Yeah, maybe not the first day, but
yeah, okay, but then that's the thing. Now, remember, it's only been one day.
Okay.
This whole saga happens in one day.
Okay, fair enough.
In fact, one could argue it happens in less than 12 hours.
You mean the entire movie?
No, the entire him arriving to him leaving with what she was on her back.
Yeah, let's say
12 hours.
Maybe 24 hours or something. I don't know.
Yes. Now, if we talk about in general, yes, I think there's a chance, assuming he doesn't. Well, to be fair, it's olden day. One could argue he could do both, but he'd probably marry her. He's not going to marry Mononoke because Mononoke's never going to leave the forest.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
So one could argue he'd be dating both of them.
Yeah.
It's the olden day, but it's the olden day.
No, that's true, because it would have been a bridge.
Yeah, it would have been a bridge.
Yeah. Huh, that would have been interesting, but it would have been a stretch. It would have been unnecessary, I think. But yeah.
Well, think about okay, but now here's the question: why would it be unnecessary?
I'm saying because I don't think it's meant to be a love story to that extent. Yes, it is a love story, but I don't think it would have been a love story that would
Princess
require.
Mononoke's son literally stops trying to kill him because he calls her pretty.
Yes, yes,
So number one, on that side, that's a love story,
yes.
no question. On
But
the
with,
other side, on the other hand, straight to business. It's a business deal
yes,
with
but I
benefits.
don't. Son was never gonna accept that. She was never gonna say that this guy. I'm gonna be sharing this man with
But,
Lady.
that's a good point. Yes, I think son wouldn't share.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, she is young. She's like she's a kid. So,
Yeah.
and that's another problem though. A lady Eboshi is a grown ass woman, and technically, Ashitaka is also a kid.
Yeah, but like you said, it's the olden days. We don't know how those worked because in the old days, even young men could marry like older women, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, it's just a thought. It's just a thought.
Tangents.
It's
Yeah,
just a thought.
definitely. You know, I liked it. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Ashitaka is appalled. His arms extra strike down. But he knows he can't do that because he'd probably have to kill the entire village.
Yeah.
The pair are surrounded by lepers when one of the lepers warns them that it's a lose-lose situation. It's a short scene where we humanize Lady Eboshi even more than we have before.
Yeah.
She cares for all of the weak. It's fantastic. 41 minutes in, we're on the walls of the village where she uses a gun to chase away monster-like spirits in the night that, according to the lady, show up trying to replant the trees, which people don't want to happen because they're trying to work the lands for iron.
And they're throwing like rocks or something, right?
Hmm?
What were they doing?
No, they were planting trees. They were planting.
Oh, they were planting trees at night.
Yes,
Oh, that's why she was chasing them away.
exactly, because she needs the mountain. Yes,
That is so crazy, Doug.
that is so crazy.
That is crazy,
What
Doug.
happened to mines? Just dig a hole. Wow.
No.
Anyway, we get Lady Eboshi's ambitions, which is to remove the spirit of the forest so they can use the mountain to create a mega location. In other words, to take over the world almost. And it's like, nigga, what are you talking about? But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
We find out that Princess Mononoke is a woman taken over by the spirit and used to destroy Eboshi. So
I think this is the only time the words Princess Mononoke are used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But we have to acknowledge Neil Gaiman's writing now. If he adapted this from the Japanese to the English, the writing is truly, truly amazing.
Oh, definitely. Oh no, definitely. Neil Gaiman's a great man, dude. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Eboshi's trying to use the legend of the spirit's blood. She says that the spirit's blood can cure everything, maybe even this man's arm. And we still get more talk of her trying to rule the world. This is a very clear setup for his dilemma because we get reminded of it almost that, oh yeah, this nigga's dying. That's right.
Yes.
But now, what's happened is what we got in here is kind of like a Avatar, not Last Airbender, but the Jake Sully Avatar, where we get the village's point of view.
Yes.
And we kind of the village is helping people, giving strength to the weak, but it's clearly expansionist. And you couldn't just be like, oh no, we're trying to live our best life over here, and so we need to survive. Now they're like, no, we want to expand forever.
Yeah.
So it's a troubled vision.
Yeah, because Ladies Eboshi is more about urbanization, while the forest and the spirits are more about leaving things as they are.
Yeah.
Allowing nature to just take its course.
Exactly. Ashitaka leaves her and goes into the village where singing distracts him. He sees ladies working and he joins the work, and his strength actually catches him all by surprise. Like, let's niggas out here.
Wait, Didn't he sit with the men before?
That was when he got the first exposition.
Oh,
He sat with the men to get the exposition before the meeting with Lady Eboshi. He chose with the men,
yes.
and then he chose with the woman now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he chose with the men and
The woman.
the woman. Sorry, my bad. That's 1 second.
And I think what I liked about that moment is even though he was, because I remember Jada Pinkett's character's like, I admire your drive, but you're gonna run out of steam eventually
Yeah,
if you keep going on like that.
yeah, actually going hard.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, so this is what you guys do on a daily basis? I like the fact that these women are not treated as weak. Like some of the jobs that Lady Bosch has given these women, it's like this is hard work, dog. Like extremely hard work.
It's actually impressive how much is actually given to the ladies here. Like,
Yeah. You could say this was pre-woke era.
dog, it's not even like what's so great about it is that it's not even like I think ironically, even though it does things that you would think woke people would like, I would argue it does things that woke people would hate as well. Because like first of all, Lady Eboshi is wrong. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like she's definitely wrong, and there are genuinely bad things she's doing. So you can't be like, yes, queen, girl, boss. You know what I mean?
Wrong
Because
in what sense?
huh?
Wrong in what sense?
She's expansionist. Out to try to gentrification in the world, dog. She's clearly wrong.
Okay.
Like she's again, it's one thing to try and help the poor. It's another thing to actively try and kill a god for the sake of killing a god. Because
no, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Like there's a point where like everything could have been fine. We'll get there, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
And also like nowadays they would have put the woman in the front line of the shooting right at the beginning. They wouldn't have said go fetch the men.
Yes.
So in a way it's still unique in and of itself, in a way that still wouldn't be written today. But I agree with you, it's ahead of its time.
Funny enough, it was written by a man.
Yeah. Funny enough. There's actually a funny meme that actually talks about this. There's actually a funny meme that talks about this. Where it says it's like, okay, woman written by woman, and it shows like She-Hulk with the twerking.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it shows like woman written by men, and it's like arcane. It's and it's like, yeah, you see that one, yeah.
I mean, it's not completely true, but I do
But
see.
at the same time, I get what they're saying.
Yes, because I mean, you do have males written by women, Dumbledore, Voldemort, Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, definitely.
I guess you could say it goes both ways sometimes.
Definitely goes both ways. 100%. Some of the best things are written by women. God, have you started buying books now? I'm just didn't take up reading. Have you started yet?
Who, me, buying books?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I've been buying books since like 2010.
Oh, okay, nice. What
Yeah.
you reading now?
I'm reading quite a number of things. I'm reading
Not economics. I'm talking about fiction.
of fiction.
No motivational stuff. No Tony Robertson. No Simon Sinek. No David Goggins. No.
And you're not talking about manga, right? Are you talking about manga?
Manga doesn't count.
Okay. I would say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Roald Dahl. Okay.
Yeah, because my niece is doing it at school, so I need to read it so that can help her if needs be. Yeah.
Makes sense. Because there's some great lady writers out there. Marsha Wells is a reader I'm enjoying right now. She's got this book series called The Murder Bot Diaries. I can't find a physical book of it yet, otherwise I'd definitely send it to you. But fantastic stuff, man. And
Marsha Wells.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with her.
Dude, you gotta check it out. She's awesome, and of course, I've already mentioned Brandon Sanderson to you before. There's also some more people that I can definitely talk about. There's like,
look, I'm familiar with Judy Blume. I've never read anything by Danielle Steele. I do know that she writes books, but
Which one's Daniel Steele? Is that one of those like young adult people, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
Rings
so.
a bell.
Yes.
And Daniel Steele rings a bell. I feel like you're talking about like Twilight or something. No, not Twilight.
Okay, that's Stephanie Meyer, right?
I know.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like you're about to rock my world. Just Daniel Steele is which
No,
one?
Daniel Steele, you're right. She did a lot of young novel, not young,
The Wedding Planner. Uh-huh.
romantic novels.
Oh damn. Oh, okay. I need to put you on definitely some writers, man.
Yeah, maybe I might also put you on some writers. Like, do you know Daniel Keyes?
Daniel Keyes.
He has a book called Flowers of Algernon,
Oh,
which is really a good
wait, am I saying it right? You say Daniel Keyes. Oh, okay, here we
yeah,
go.
Daniel Keyes, Keyes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, I'm more into fantasy, that's why. That's why I don't know him.
Okay. No, I get you.
You know, the Robert Jordans, Brandon Sanderson, David Pierce Brown, Robin Hobbs.
I don't know any of those people that you mentioned, but I think one of the people that I would really like to read, like his work, is Gardner Fox. I think I've spoken to you about Gardner Fox before. Science fiction, he's amazing. I mean, he came up with the character Adam Strange, DC. I think he also added meat to Batman. I think he came up with, could be wrong, but I think he might have. Gardner Fox.
No.
Yes, Gardner Fox.
Ah, okay. Comic stuff.
Yeah, but he has actually written books as well, science fiction books.
Oh, damn. Well, I'm loving me some sci-fi. I mean, I still need to buy The Expanse. I've got a few Expanse books. I haven't got all of them yet. This stuff looks interesting, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, yeah, let's get back to it. We're still 40 minutes in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are we even talking about? Oh yeah.
We're just basically talking about Ladyeboshi, but before we go to Ladyeboshi, we're talking about Ashitaka and the woman. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. Thingy.
I think this is where Sun comes in.
But before Sun comes in, yeah. But yeah, we gotta get a few shots of Sun about to come in. Yeah, we can see that something's building up. But we get to see the world from the woman's eyes, basically. That yes, their lives are better now than they were as prostitutes, but the world is hard for them, but it's safe.
Yes.
They all work together. It's safe. It's beautiful. It shows a level of sympathy, a level of ground levelness, and he loves it. He's a people person. He loves people being happy.
Yes.
It sets him up. It sets them up. It gets this little syncness to it. I love it so much.
Right.
So that's a little perfect little scene. And it's only a minute long, but it's a perfect little scene. Then we go back to Mononoke. Yeah, sorry?
No. I'm just picturing those moments, and I totally agree with you. I think it's amazing to see. Like, does Ashitaka even laugh in this entire movie?
Oh, but he has a little bit of fun with them. I mean, he smiles definitely, but yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like Samurai Jack, where the guy doesn't really express himself in that light a lot, but in the happy moments, you see that he's also happy, even though he doesn't express it as much as the people around him. Yeah.
Not a straight visual man, yes.
Yeah.
100%. No, I agree with that one. Yeah, anyway, we get the perspective of Mononoke on top of the mother wolf, watching the wolf from the top. We can see the anger in their eyes, the wolves growl as they watch the whole area. You get a clear idea that something's about to happen.
Yeah.
You get a nice little oh shit moment here, especially when the mask comes down. Almost immediately, we can see
Ashitaka.
Huh?
What do you call it?
Oh shit moment. We're like, oh, okay, it's about to get real. You know what I mean?
I like that, though. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what you would say, right? When you see that moment.
Yeah. That's exactly what you'd say, yes. Almost immediately we see Ashitaka's gonna leave when he hears something, and we see that the attack is coming. Mononoke or San invades the village and rushes through at high speed. She is literally too fast for them.
Yeah.
The village is on high alert as the lady steps out into the open with two gun-wielding women who want to get revenge for the people the princess has killed.
Yes.
Like, that's cold-blooded. Like, she's like, yeah, these are the people these are the wives of the husbands you killed.
But did she kill or did the mother kill? Because that's what the mom did. I don't think she did it.
Yeah. But she basically lays blame. Yeah, fair enough. But to be fair, yeah, no, I hear you.
It's like your people did this. Like,
yes,
yeah,
it's your crew, bro.
the crew. Yeah, he gets shot in the head, dog.
Oh, and they smashed the mosque. Yes.
Yeah, they smashed the mosque. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Ishtaka seeing
How many of those masks she has? Because, and I don't know what material that was. Because it feels like the sound kind of felt like it was like a tile type of.
You'd assume it's clay of some kind. Yeah.
Clay of some kind. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. You see the element trap. Ishtaka sees the trap, but he tries to stop her, but she's like, I'm not paying attention. She goes straight in, only to be stopped by the mask exploding. Yes. Ishtaka appears to save her, but the princess doesn't care and still heads straight for Lady Eboshi.
The thing is, she doesn't know that Ashitaka is not the villager from. She's like it's not a member of Irontown.
Yeah, but he's a human, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The pair are fighting while surrounded. Ashtaka takes a moment to take action. Steps into the fight. He stops.
That scene was amazing because obviously before he goes there, Gonza is trying to like stop him, but at that moment you see that this guy doesn't care.
Yeah.
Bends the sword, continues to go straight. There's a crowd in front of him. He punches them. It's like cartoony, like Popeye spinach type of.
Oh yeah.
As they are fighting, he holds both of them. It just stops both of them. Like no one's. Yeah, that was crazy.
God, man.
Yeah.
And then he leaves with the girl, and he gets shot.
Okay, before he leaves with the girl, both the women are stubborn. You know, I feel like I was telling a friend of mine this that when you're a child, you love Superman, you love Goku. As you get older, you love Vegeta more and you love Batman more, right? If you remember in the Majin Buu, when Vegeta was about to sacrifice himself, the kids didn't listen and he punched them so that they pass out, so that he can continue doing what he's doing. And it didn't make sense. Like you would think, why are you doing this to kids? But as you get older, you're like, no, it makes sense. He had to do that. Like even here, Ladyeboshi and Son were so stubborn. So he knocks them out. He knocks both of them out. And then he gives Ladyeboshi to the people. It's like, no, she'll be fine. And then he takes Son. It's like, that was, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like,
fantastic.
that's the only way to stop this fight from continuing. Yeah.
And there's so much anger in the village that he ends up getting hit anyway.
Yes.
The village is shocked.
Which was a mistake, you would say, because yes, she was threatening him, but she didn't want to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But something distracted her, and then yeah.
See, that part couldn't happen today. But yeah, the village is shocked by all that is happening. Him bleeding out.
Wait, sorry, I don't understand. What do you mean that wouldn't happen today?
No, it's in for the whole like them making mistakes like that. But yes,
deliberate.
Yeah, because remember when you're a girl boss, you don't make mistakes by accidentally shooting people. But
oh my goodness. Okay.
But anyway, yeah, the village is shocked by all that's happening. Him bleeding out as he opens this massive gate by himself, and he just
shoots his heart or something.
Yeah, they basically shot him throughout the chest, man. Like I'm surprised he could breathe at all.
Yeah, me too. But I think like my rationale of what happened there is this curse is keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Even though it's gonna kill him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not like he has natural superhuman strength. The curse basically. It's the curse that bent the metal thing in the first place.
Yes.
But yeah, and the scene ends like that. It's a great set piece and gives you a clash of two ideals, one fleshed out and the other still waiting to be fleshed out.
Right.
Scene is the type you see in a climax. There's still another hour to go. But what it appears to be is a climax of the first point of view. And now we move on into the forest to get the second point of view.
I like that. And before we go to the forest, I like the part where obviously he's gonna open the door, I mean the gate, and they're like, I like how these two guys are like, dude, we appreciate what you just did. You brought these guys who are seemingly dead to us. Please, we don't want to hurt you. Don't do this.
Yeah. It's
You
like,
know,
oh yeah, you guys hurt me, hilarious. Anyway, and then he opens the door.
it's like this strength takes this is the strength of 10 men or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
every time I hear that line, I just think of Romeo and Juliet because this wasn't Romeo described as the guy who was strength of 10 men. But anyway, he does open the gate with
yeah,
one hand, bro.
easy peasy, dog.
Yeah. And then I think that's when he calls in the wolves, right?
Well, no, the wolves show up on their own, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wolves show up on their own. They see the gate opening and him holding her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and before they can even shoot the wolves, they don't even have ammo, so they're stuck. So they just come and fetch the wolves. Yeah. Anyway, 54 minutes in, basically like near the halfway point. You could argue that was probably the midpoint of the storyline.
Yeah, definitely.
You gotta get the second half. So you could argue that was the end of the third act, by the way.
Yes.
Because now that whole segment is done. Now it's time for the opposing segment.
Yes.
Anyway, he's still bleeding out as he travels in the forest. On top of the elk, when his loss of blood eventually leads to him dropping. Like,
I guess you could say this is perfect timing because when Sun wakes up, which you could say this is where you watched Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that movie, you'll realize that the two main characters sort of like swap roles, like who becomes the protagonist at a certain point of the movie. And I think this also happens here because just when he's beginning to lose consciousness, Sun wakes up.
Yes.
So he falls from the wolf. Then Sun now takes over as the main character. You would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Speaking of which, yeah, he falls off the wolf, and the wolves just fucking try to eat him, dog. The way he bit his head, dog.
So that scene, the first time I saw that scene, I was mesmerized. I was like, I've never seen anything like this in animation.
Dog. Just that bite, and you're like, okay, well, this nigga's dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that other one hated his guts, bro.
Dog.
Even though this guy just saved your sister's life.
No fucks given.
Yo. Apparently, this is actually considered to be one of Miyazaki's darkest stuff. And it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, compared to like Howl's Flying Castle, this is definitely his darkest. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the other one again with the one where the parents get taken? I always keep getting that name.
Spirited Away.
Yes. Now there's something like his friendliest one, I think.
It's dark, but it's still friendly. It's kind of like a fairy tale. You know how fairy tales in premise are actually quite dark, but you still
if you think about it for more than 2 minutes, then yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes.
You start having an adventure. Nigga, your parents are gone. But yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't flinch when she threatens to kill him, because I think there's just this level of absolute anger. Everyone is pissed.
Pissed off,
On the forest side, everyone is just at their angriest.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like the most about this movie is Ashitaka is meddling in people's affairs that he shouldn't meddle in.
Yeah.
That's why they hate him as well.
True. He's out here living his best life. These niggas are out here on the edge.
Yeah.
Of just the edge of the world.
You wanna become a mediator? You don't even know what the hell is going on here. You just here yesterday.
To the point where they basically greet this nigga teeth first. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
They are just not playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tries to kill him, but she calls her beautiful, which catches her so completely by surprise. You'd have thought she was punched in the face, dude.
Hey, bro. I think it's because for the first time, it was the first time a human being saw her as more than just.
Yeah, as a crazy wolf creature, basically.
Animal, yeah.
Crazy kung fu wolf bitch.
Yeah.
from the Boondocks, just in case you wondering. If you
Oh,
want to,
okay.
no, I'm talking about right with the Kumite
The
episode.
Yeah.
Because that's what she is. She's a crazy kung fu wolf bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, in the middle of the scene, the creatures in black reveal themselves to be the ape tribe.
Yeah.
And they want to eat him in order to save the ape tribe. The
Yeah,
forest
busy throwing rocks or something.
is out of nowhere. Like
Those
we
apes are quite friendly, actually, if you think of it. Or rather, they are not as violent as.
I
If
mean,
you,
they want to eat him.
yeah, I
But
know they wanted to eat him, but like they were throwing stones, like rocks,
exactly. Compared to the
compared
wolves,
to
yeah,
what the wolves were doing. Oh, dude.
they were damn near Mr. Rogers. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Out here throwing small stones. But yeah, the ape tribe is pissed. They're just like, no, we want to eat him, and they're like, no, you can't do that because if you eat him, then you become a demon, basically.
Yeah, you're gonna become something else.
Well, exactly. But the forest spirit is being dismissed as unwilling to help, and that just pisses the wolves off because they're like, because now they're talking down to the forest spirit, and that is just, yeah, they're just like, fuck off. What are you talking about? And she tries to calm them down, but in the end, it comes to the wolves try and chase them away.
Yeah.
And now here, and that kind of how the scene ends. And now we kind of get that second perspective now that we've been looking for. But it's being shown directly to us through the princess, which is kind of the best way to show because again, the village people were friendly, so willing to share. There's nothing friendly about these niggas. So they're not going to be willing to share. So we have to see kind of her perspective, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get the layout. And we see that the princess cares for all the animals, and there's a dark risk that the animals are facing because they're on the edge. They're on the edge of sanity, basically. Cool. And then we jump to the next scene. Now we're leading him into the forest, where he's taken to the waters. She leads him to a special island in the middle of the forest where giant bones lay, and we kind of wonder what that's about. And we see these spirit creatures all start to move, and we see this mega beast show up. And out of nowhere, the monk is back, and he's in animal skins. And we discover that the monk is actually some kind of hunter who's actually chasing this massive bounty that he did mention before. That was in the start of the movie.
Yes.
We also watch it's a very nice moment. It's a very beautiful moment as night becomes day, and we see the creature we'd seen before. The elk we'd seen before. Turns out no, it's a forest spirit. And every step it takes creates life as these plants grow out of it.
Yeah, or death, because I think there's a point where it steps in front of like a flower or something, and it died.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, can give life and take it away.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes it from because she cuts a tree. I know what you're talking about. She cuts a tree and it sucks the life out of the tree, if I'm correct.
Right.
And it puts in the ground, and then it kind of grows from there, and it gives it to the guy. Then we cut back to the monks, who enter a hideout before seeing a massive line of wild boars.
Yeah.
We get an exposition of the gray boar.
Wait, is this where Sun was feeding Ashitaka? Just after he fed Ashitaka, right?
Yeah. It's all one big scene, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time seeing this, I was like, wait, because I remember, when you're watching a movie and you're like, man, so much has happened in this movie. And when you're seeing this, because I mean, it's like a first kiss type of thing, but at the same time, it's not necessarily meant to be a kiss. I'm just feeding you, right?
Exactly. Body contact thing.
And I remembered when I realized how much time was left from this film, I was like, what the hell? Like, I was still intrigued about what's going to happen, but at the same time, I felt like this movie is long.
Oh, definitely. But that actually happens later, actually. What you're talking about actually happens later. So, yeah, the movie is long. There's a lot of moving pieces here. There's a lot of moving pieces. I 100% agree. We get, we get exposition of the gray boars, the wild boars. And we see the big one. And we see and then the hunters immediately notice it and they run away. They know they're fucked if they get noticed.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to the boy who is touched by this. Eats the plant, passes it to the boy. But But yeah, then the scene ends with the boy being saved. And it's just this beautiful whole moment of like all these moving pieces. It's like what you said before about the world living beyond the main character.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of that.
Yes.
This entire system that exists, that chief knows how to follow, where she gets that tree branch, and then and the hunters are basically doing their own thing. And kid was almost a coincidence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you said, lots of moving pieces coming in, coming out. Is fantastic. Cool. Despite being freed, we see that the red elk has stayed. Is willing to stay with its master. Ishitaka is awake. The wound is cured, but that doesn't mean he's back fixed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was like, okay, so I'm fine, but the curse is like the forest spirit didn't lift the curse. The curse is still there.
Beyond his arm. It's not
Yeah.
just. It's beyond his arm now. Like
Yes.
it's here, and it's like
Yeah.
The prince shows up and feeds him because he's too weak to eat properly. The wolves show up just as the boars appear.
It makes me wonder if Masashi Kishimoto saw this before he did. He did Sasuke's curse mark, but anyway.
Probably. But the monkeys, the apes, the boars have shown up to kill the humans. Despite being from another forest, the boars are furious, and one of their own have died.
Yeah.
Handle at the boar, and
It's
this
amazing, man, because they're taking revenge on a character that died at the very beginning of the movie. Which goes back to what you've been saying over and over again. Even Alfred Hitchcock says this, that if you show something, there has to be a reason why you show this thing.
Yes.
You don't just show something for the sake of showing it. There has to be a reason why this thing is being shown in the movie.
100%.
Yeah. Because, in some stories, you could say that, no, Ashitaka killed the boss so that we can get an impression that this guy is a hunter and whatever. But no, in this story, it's not just because we need to see him as a hunter. No. It goes full circle. The fact that he had to be, what's this word that I'm looking for? Banned by his own people. The fact that he was going on this whole adventure and everything, it all goes full circle to the boars actually finding out who actually did that in the first place.
Yes.
Crazy.
Exactly, because sometimes things are got to connect. You can't just have things happening. Yes.
Right.
That makes some fantastic writing. Yes. But anyway, the boars are furious about the situation. They can't handle that the boar ran away and became a demon, which is treated like almost like an act of like, not necessarily cowardice, but like weakness. Like succumbing to weakness, you could say.
Because they were in disbelief. They couldn't believe that their own did something like that.
Yeah. So, but then Ashitaka wakes up and tries to convince them. And he succeeds in convincing them. And the princess steps up, but Ashitaka tells her to calm down. And he sniffs her and he believes. And then they start to believe him. But that does not stop his mission.
Yeah, because I think even Sam's mother was there as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's to de-escalate the situation. I think the mom was also there.
Yes, the wolf mom was there, yes.
Yeah.
So, but then Oko, the boar, what's his name again? Oko something?
Isn't it Okoro or something? Just give me a second.
Okoro sounds right. Keith David Boar. Boar thing.
Okoto.
There we go. He's like, that's great. Next time I see you, I'm still gonna kill your ass. It's on site.
Yeah.
I'll let you go for now, but next time it's on site.
You're gone, Chief.
Yeah, I'm not changing the mission. What has to happen has to happen.
Sam's mom also warns the boys that, guys, don't do this. This is a suicide mission. Okay, it's a self-deletion mission, because I know YouTube is a bit sensitive to those words. Self-deletion mission. These guys have guns and stuff. Like, I don't even think she called it guns. She just said, like, these guys have weapons.
Journey, bro. Definitely.
Yeah.
But
they don't listen.
Yeah, but at the same time, now they argue their case. They say, look, man, if we don't take over, if we don't defeat them here, it's a last stand. Because the more the forest dies, the more our godlyhood dies.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because Okoto says something that when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, flip! Is this how, is this how the boys became small?" Because he said like, if our kind dies here, we're gonna end up as nothing but
Wild boars, yeah,
mindless little pigs or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And like this is our last chance. So
yeah,
that's even if you're right, it doesn't change anything.
right,
We have to win here.
yeah.
Um,
But
and
it makes
funny
me
enough, the
wonder.
boards,
It
very,
makes me wonder. Ashitaka, I understand. I understand why. Okay, so obviously, Sun understands the language spoken by these animals or these spirits.
Mhm.
Ashitaka, I would argue that he also understands because one, he's cursed, and number two, he's a traditional slash spiritual man. But
the
what I'm
village.
wondering is those hunters, could they hear this conversation? I mean, they were there, but
I
did they
find
hear
it,
it?
the monk with the level of wisdom he has, you would think so, but I'm not entirely sure. I think what it is something else. But at the same time, when you think about the end scene, I almost feel like those pigs almost understood. If not, then I think what it is I think it works both ways.
Mm.
Because the hunters, the village people clearly don't, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they know what's going on. Yeah.
But the hunters, the level of wisdom they have is clearly enough that they know to follow the wolf, the pig back to the village.
Mm.
But I think that's just them understanding the habits of the animals, not necessarily them understanding the language. So I
Oh,
think the people of his village, because they have a level of respect, well, I could even argue it's an element of listening. They're not willing to listen to the animals speak anyway, so how do
oh,
you hear them?
right, right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
Because
do.
the people of
It's
his village,
actually something that I never really considered until we bring it now, because I don't think we ever see Sun speaking to. Okay, I mean, Sun does speak to Ashitaka just before Ashitaka punches them out, both of them.
yeah,
But we don't really see Sun speaking to anybody else that's human.
that is true.
So we don't really know if the humans could understand what she was saying.
True, she could just be speaking animal. That is true.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. That is entirely possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Cool. Yeah, they're gonna take a last stand. Cool. And then the scene ends. To me, this feels like a very Eastern storytelling here, with
Mm, mm,
because which is unfair because technically Western storytelling used to be like this. One only has to look at the original Grimm's tales to see that before
yes.
they were Disneyfied, stories
Yeah.
used to have no answers.
Yes.
Are in trouble. They know they can't be saved. Ashitaka also can't be saved. No pieces are fitting together. It's depressing and beautiful, kind of like watching fire. You know what I mean?
And funny enough, I guess you could say the only creature that should have been able to speak is the forest spirit, but it says
Oh,
nothing
that
that.
never speaks. Yeah, yeah, never speaks. And let's not forget about there's a nice little correlation between the boars who are reaching their end to the village elders in the beginning of the movie, who are also reaching their end.
Oh, flip, yeah. But the difference between the two is that the village elders are more passive
Yes, exactly.
than the
They're going
boys.
out quietly, their heads down.
Yeah,
Boars are going out with the fight. Yeah, definitely. They don't lash. The village people don't lash out at all. They just follow their traditions even until the end.
yeah,
Yeah, last kid, last male, please. Off you go, buddy. Gotta follow the rules.
yeah.
So they're gonna follow traditions till the end. Yeah. Ironically, it's the boars that break from their almost their traditions. With the young boar lashing out with the becoming a demon, and the older boars becoming demons. Makes you wonder. Anyway, yeah. We're officially at the middle of the story, following story conventions. This is a midpoint low. We see the forest spirit, and it is smiling, and its smiling face, but that doesn't mean anything because like a mask.
Mm,
And then it cuts into a war. We see the people of the village, the samurai from before, are attacking the village, but the village, with their gunners, are defending their homes as they bring home their next rice shipment. So the rice shipment gets hit from all sides. It
right,
doesn't matter if it's 4 legs or 2 legs. Someone's trying to take their shipment.
right.
We see the hunters too. Um, the monk and his hunters. They are watching from a distance, and when Mr. Monk approaches Lady Eboshi, and we kind of get a lot of reveals here. As it turns out, there's a deal being made between the monk who is working for the emperor,
Yes,
and Lady Eboshi. The Lord Speaker is chased away. The guy the Lord that's attacking them, he has like a envoy, but they chase him away.
so basically the monk is like a liaison between Lady Eboshi and himself.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say and the emperor, yes,
Okay.
and himself as well.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Lady Eboshi and the monk discuss the deal. The Lady Eboshi discuss the deal and demands the head of the forest spirit. The army of hunters of the emperor come in as a part of the deal, and Lady Eboshi says she'll be leaving her people behind as a safety precaution as they fight to kill the forest spirit. And that's the end of the scene. More pieces are moving as the revelation of the monk's connections grow. We get more exposition explaining the level of greed involved here. As it turns out, they know about the boar attack and the legend of immortality. That is likely what the emperor is really hunting. Like what we think is that the emperor it's about the forest and the gods, but realistically, it's probably about the head.
Yes.
And immortality.
What did they need from Lady Eboshi again?
Assistance with the guns to come and help out. They need an army to march into the thing that knows the forest, and no one knows the forest better than Lady Eboshi.
Yes, but we know, like, we then now know that the monk is actually after the head of the forest spirit.
Yes.
Because the Lord wants immortality.
No, not the Lord, the Emperor. Remember, there's two high powers. There's the Emperor and there's the Lord.
Okay, but is the Lord in the story, or I just made a mistake?
You see the Lord, you never see the Emperor. But the samurai they're attacking belong to the Lord.
Oh. Wait, but the monk was serving the Emperor, right?
Yes. Which is why he doesn't really involve himself with the Lord, because it's not his problem. So the Emperor is, of course, above the Lord.
Yes, the Lord was a whole, like that enemy was just something else completely different. Like it had nothing to do with the monk, right?
Exactly. It's kind of like if you're talking about Game of Thrones levels, there's a difference between the, let's say it's like being attacked by Lord Stark.
Yes.
As opposed to being attacked by
Lannister.
Yes, by Joffrey, who was like a king.
Oh, Joffrey. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his face before Joffrey?
Robert.
There we go. It's like Baratheon, Robert Baratheon.
Yes.
There's the Baratheon king, and there's the Baratheon house, which is its own like sub area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Lady Eboshi is being attacked by like the Starks or the Baratheons.
Yes.
Tully's, a house.
Yes.
As opposed to the kingdom itself.
Right.
And the kingdom itself is dealing with the monk.
Yes.
So therefore, it's not the problem of things. So there's two different powers there.
Yes. It's just that the other power was sidelined because the Lord's, the arc of the Lord was sidelined a bit.
Yes. And it's so nice because it's a different storyline.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do see bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it's a different storyline. Yes.
It's also something that Lady Eboshi had already prepared in advance for the ladies because she already had given them ammunition. If you remember, when she's with Ashitaka, she goes into the production where they were doing these guns, and she says that she wants the guns to be a lot lighter for the women.
Yes.
And that comes full circle to the moment where someone sent by the Lord says, "I've been sent by the Lord." Yes, I'm sure we'll get there, but yeah.
And it's such a separate, unconnected storyline. It just shows it.
Hey, dude.
And it makes sense because remember, Lady Eboshi shows up and just takes over an entire village.
Yes.
And just rules it. You can't do that. Land is owned by a landowner, which would be the Lord. You can't just straight up do that. You have to pay your dues to the Lord, to the landowner.
But it also shows you that I don't think Lady Eboshi's plans were gonna actually work in the long run because at night she's busy chasing away these gorillas that are planting trees. Yes. And then in the morning she has to fight the samurai sent by the Lord.
The men have to dig the stone, then the lady is converted into guns, Guns obviously sold to the emperor, I would assume, to iron and guns, and sold to the emperor, but it's a land grab where like it makes so much sense logically, if you know what I mean. That okay, this lord would be upset because A, it's not your land.
Yes.
And you're obviously not paying taxes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that's the land that has the iron that we need.
Exactly. So now if you were this lord, you wouldn't just let Iron Town grow quietly. Nah, you wouldn't. So it makes sense that that's happening.
Yes.
But it's so separate from the main universe of this of this man's storyline.
I guess you could also say, like, if this story was about Lady Eboshi, like if she was the main character of this story, you would see all the hurdles that she has to face on a daily basis. Because one, we already mentioned the Lord issue that she's dealing with. Two, we're mentioning the spirits that she's dealing with at night.
Yes.
Right? And then three, feeding these people. Mm-hmm. Having to find oxen to transport the rice.
Yes.
So like she's dealing with so much, dog.
Yeah. It's fantastic because
while manufacturing guns.
Do you know what's funny is that it's so Game of Thrones because it's its own universe with its own problems that it's dealing with its own issues.
Yeah.
And then it shows that no one was standing still until Ishitaka shows up.
That's what I was saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like Ashitaka is introduced to a world where everything is like, it's like, dude, you are basically a persona non. We don't care, dog. Like, actually, you're a nuisance. Like,
yeah, it's not like Gotham needs you. No.
We don't need you.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like Jim Gordon. Actually, I think Jim Gordon would be the perfect example because him coming to GCPD and trying to change GCPD from the inside out, he becomes a thorn in the flesh of the cops that already had dealings with certain drug lords and stuff like that. You know, and they cannot kill him because they cannot kill their own. It's a rule amongst the cops that you cannot kill your own.
You can't be a cop killer because now you're breaking the board almost. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So Ashitaka is basically Jim Gordon.
Yeah. And also there's this life that's happening. There's this universe that's happening. Like if we were to cut this out and just watch, it would still be a full storyline.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For me, this type of writing for me is it's amazing. It's completely I mean, like for instance, Daenerys, right? In Game of Thrones, she was away from most of the action for the longest time.
Yes.
I mean, the story was continuing without her.
Oh yeah, literally.
Until to a point where she then became a big obstacle in the story when she broke the wheel. You know what I mean? The dragons and whatever.
Yes.
So for me, any writing like that, it's like the whole Lord of the Rings thing with Frodo, right? You having ownership of the ring and having to destroy it at Mordor. There's so much happening, Doc.
Yeah.
That you have no inkling about. And you're witnessing this thing. You're witnessing these things as you go about your journey.
Yeah, and storytelling 101, in my opinion, is always action and consequence.
Right.
When Lady Eboshi takes over the village, expands it. Consequence.
Yes.
The lord of that area is like, yo, what's going on? Where is this?
Right.
And then Lady Eboshi needs to feed her people, but there's no food there. So she uses the stuff to sell. I'm assuming obviously not to the Lord, otherwise there'd be no problems. Yes. So she sells it, goes over the Lord's head to the Emperor or some other people. So the Lord gets upset. Consequence. Starts taking the runs. But now she's building guns, attacks back, escalation. There's this whole separate action and consequence thing. That's world building is. It's action and consequence. That's what world building is. If you can't build consequences for your actions, you end up with a bad story.
And this has nothing to do with this Kiss boy who just comes out of nowhere.
And that's what it means to be fleshed out. That's what it means to be 3D. Like, for example, let's say you got a character that's angry all the time. There's got to be a reason for that. Yes. Why are they angry? And also, what are the consequences of them being angry all the time?
Like Sun. Because Sun is pissed off like most of the... Like, the only person that stops Sun from being pissed off is Ashitaka.
Yes.
And her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this time...
that's amazing. Like, you know, I think the more we talk about these movies, not just with you, but even with the Africa is Next guys. Like whenever we are dissecting Avatar or Naruto or whatever, I'm like, ah, man, I need to improve on my writing. You know, when you thought you had everything sorted.
Yeah,
The more we talk about this, you're like, oh no, I need to go back to my writing now.
that's how it should be. That's how it should be. That's the dream right there. What you're describing is the dream, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we are in the new scene. We are with Ishitaka, who appears to still be down. We get music again. He wakes up. He's dealing with the pain of the curse while Princess Mononoke sleeps. He steps out and we get a confrontation between Moro, the mother wolf, and Ashitaka. Ashitaka will not spread hate and fight. Moro wants him gone.
This is where Moro says, I wish you had spoken in your sleep so that I can just bite your head off.
Yes.
That's so messed up, bro.
Hey, dog, she tried once.
Yeah.
Moro wants him gone, knowing that the princess and the rest of the wolves will likely die, as the princess is a part of the wolf family, so she will die too. And the wolf Moro's already dying, so she's like fine with it on some level.
Right.
And he's threatened to leave. They tell him to piss off or we'll kill you. We see the wolves facing their inevitability. No willingness to compromise, but a willingness to face it head on, which is the consequence of like this anger that they're going through. Like they're angry, and there's a consequence that they're just willing to die. That's just who they are.
Right.
But now I would say this is a point where like it's like again we've discussed before. Like we kind of reached the end of an act, of the final act, not the final act, but like the act before the final act, where it's like, ladies and gentlemen, all choices have been made, all views have been seen. And now it's all about consequences.
So this is, you could say, the end of the fourth act.
Basically, yes.
Wait,
so now
we said the third act starts at Ashitaka leaving
the village.
Eboshi's. That's the third, right? That's the end of the third. And the beginning of the fourth.
Yes, you're right. Beginning of the fourth, yes.
Okay, so this is the end of the fourth. And
Yes.
the beginning of the fifth.
Exactly.
All right.
So yeah, he wakes up, and one of the younger wolves is waiting for him to lead him away. As a goodbye, he gives the crystal knife. He marches away. We're on the move. We see the base camp set by the humans, and the trap is set up for the boars.
And just to make a quick note here, for some weird reason, from this arc, you can't hear I don't know if that was deliberate, but you cannot hear the wolf speak to Sun anymore. You cannot hear Sun speaking to the boars anymore. You only hear that Sun actually can tell what these people are saying, but we as the viewers cannot hear what those people are saying anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens for a short while. Eventually, it goes back to its default settings, but it's just something to note. I don't know why that happened, but yeah.
It's just a build-up. Yeah, it's just so we can see like a little build-up of like, again, I think it's just a question of the decisions have been made, man.
Maybe it's just the POV.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, what's it to say? What's it to say, really? You know what I mean?
I mean, it was just like, hey, Ashitaka gave me this crystal dagger and he said I must give it to you. Nothing was said. It's just, oh, from Ashitaka? And then when she meets the boars after they were smearing each other with makeup before the war, and she's running towards the boars and she says, hey, I came to aid you guys. And then I think she replies to them. You could tell that they said something to her, but she was looking for Otoko. We don't hear those boys say anything, but then she replies and says, okay, thanks. And then she takes a different route. Yeah, it's just something to note.
I know, definitely.
Yeah.
But you can tell that death is painful to her because before she leaves, she hugs the mother wolf.
Yeah, because the mother wolf is frank. She says, look, I'm on limited time.
Yeah, you can see her eyes are also red as well.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
Because I think that's when she said, okay, I'm going to go help the boys. And then the mom was like, okay, do what you believe is right and whatever.
Yeah.
And also, I think if there's something that we need to say is We finally get Asan's background through the mother when she was talking to Ashitaka and saying, "Look,
confrontation, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe let's not get into it. I guess people will watch that and
But yeah, oh no, it's a Tarzan situation where like
yeah, or a Mowgli Jungle Book
yeah, you could
situation.
say Jungle Book, yeah, where she's given up to save the parents' lives. She gets given sacrificed or whatever. They get
Which is
left
messed
behind.
up. Which is a messed up thing by the parents to do, eh?
Oh yeah, definitely. Which is why she has no love for the humans.
The
No,
humans. Oh, you think that's the reason?
I would say so, yeah. But anyway, the point is it's a grand scene, but it kind of shows fatalism, an element of fatalism. Like there's been the wolves are almost like a metaphor for fatalism, where it's like raging against dying of the light, but they accept this level of death. So yeah, and fatalism and honor. There's a high level of honor with the animals as well, which is ironic.
Right.
Because there's more honor with the wolves and the animals than there are with humans. Yeah, and then the scene ends like that, and then we move away to Ishitaka, who envisions actually no, there's a moment where like things get from light to dark, and you kind of get the idea that half a day has almost passed because things get dark again, and it rains, and we move away to Ishitaka, who envisions the action as he marches, as he turns to who goes to Iron Town, which is under attack. He rushes in, racing to the city, which is facing a massive army. It turns out it was a sneak attack from the Lord. Ashitaka needs to get to the ladies and Lady Eboshi and the samurai to try and stop them. What follows is a visually stunning chase scene. The deer is injured. I think his name is Taku, I think. The deer is injured and he's on the ground facing the samurai now.
I keep forgetting that. When I was watching the movie, I was like, I'm gonna remember this name. Today, I'm like, it's gone. And I like this part because there's a part where Ashitaka's like, okay, just stay here. I'm gonna fetch you. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, he's like, no.
It's like I said, stay. This thing keeps coming.
Yeah, and he gives up. He's just like, all right, fine.
Let's go. Yeah, you're gonna slow me down, but I have no choice but to go with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they recognize him as well, so it's definitely the villagers from before, I think. But anyway, he doesn't want to fight, but they won't stop, so he runs off. But yeah, and then they go to the wasteland of the Boers. We see both sides of the dead. We see the humans. We see the Boers. There's just a bunch of dead bodies.
You know, this is like one of those moments where you know how in Game of Thrones sometimes they would talk about a battle that transpired, but you didn't really see it in detail. I feel like this is what happened. Yes, we did see some of the explosions and the boars, like, yo, bruh. It was like probably smelled like bacon. That entire area probably smelled like bacon. But we didn't see it in detail. We just see the aftermath of
Sure,
it.
you don't have to, in your own way. You don't really have to.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I think this is where we see, because he was looking for Lady Eboshi. When he
Yes.
gets he's looking for Lady Eboshi, and then one of the hunters, like the monks people, his subordinates or whatever, says, "No, you can give me the message." It's like, "No, no, 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 no. I want to speak to Lady Eboshi directly." And I think that's where one of the wolves, you can see one of the wolves was suffocating in between the boars.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I just don't, I hope I'm not messing up your flow. And obviously, he tries to free the wolf. But as he tries to free the wolf, the guys from the guys that work with the monk, one of them uses poisonous darts. And then obviously, Ashitaka loses all the strength to pick up this. I think for me, that was one of the greatest moments in the film because he's really trying hard to lift the boar.
Yeah.
And the poison weakens him. And he makes it clear to the villagers that, yo, I need this wolf to help me find Lady Boshi.
Oh yeah. First, he explains to the villagers what's happened.
Yes.
And the villagers freak out, and the villagers are already upset because it turns out that they'd been a bunch of they'd been using the villagers as human shields as they threw mines and grenades in between the boars and the villagers.
Right.
So they are pissed off with the hunters in the first place.
Yeah.
And then when he starts to help the wolf, the hunters are like, "What the hell is your problem?" And
the hunters did what?
the hunters basically used the villages as human sacrifices, as human shields.
Yes. So that they can survive the aftermath of the wars and whatever.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the humans in the front lines, basically,
Yeah.
as kicked over all the grenades and stuff like that.
Right. That scene was a bit similar to the scene in Full Metal Jacket, man.
Mm.
With the corpses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely. And then you actually get a flashback to see all that stuff. But yeah, the villagers are like, oh no, screw you guys. This man needs to get to Lady Eboshi, and that wolf is the fastest way there. So we're gonna, so they take out the hunters, like they take them out.
Yeah.
And then so he uses the wolf to go after the hunting party, and then the scene ends there.
Yeah.
And this is a turning point in the plot.
But that's why he also gave the elk and said, "Stay with them."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the villagers go back basically.
Yeah.
And this is a turning point in the plot as the villagers are suddenly faced with an all-new problem, and they have to put their village ahead as the humans turn out to be the bigger enemy than the animals.
Yes.
And now we're in Climax Town. We're back at the hunters party who are setting up for their final raid. Meanwhile, the leftovers of the attack, the injured wolf and the boar guard are heading back to the heart of the forest to try and heal. When the monkeys show up and start throwing wood at them.
The monkeys, though, are the most. If there was like, like how you're explaining it, like this film is kind of like a game. The monkeys would be the first level, though. Like,
not even throwing rocks, they're just throwing wood. They're just like, oh, you guys have screwed up. They're just like, what have you guys done? Things are about to get a whole lot worse.
And they're blaming Sun, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
And it's wild because they're not even throwing anything wild in the first place, number one. And number two, they're not even help out.
I think they respect Sun enough to see her as like part of them. That's why they're not even necessarily like being lethal about it. I think it's so like, we want to punish you, we want to kill you, but we can't kill you because you're one of our own.
Maybe, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it's like, help out. But
dude, like, because they're more concerned about the vegetation of the place than.
True.
Yeah.
Like, you see a bigger picture. But they start bouncing. Like, that's when all wildlife just starts bouncing.
Yeah, it's like, no FL niggas will bounce.
Yeah, they leave. There's like raccoons and rats and all these things start leaving too. As they try to heal the thing. The warrior boars appear. Because remember, the Keith David boar is trying to get back and heal.
And heal himself, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not working out. The humans suddenly start showing up dressed as the boars. The boar king is broken by the pain of seeing his men. But things are looking bad when the wolf calls. The humans are trying to push the boar into becoming a demon. And when she tries to stop it, they knock her out with a rock. The boar succumbs to the horror, and the humans follow as it leads its way to the center of the forest.
Yeah, so basically, the boar basically just thinks that it's his kids that came back to him, right?
Yeah.
Because he can smell the scent.
Yeah, and he thinks it's them.
Yes, he thinks it's them, because he's blind.
Yeah.
Man. Going back to why certain things should be the way they are, he had to be blind so that when the scene transpires, there's a reason why he cannot identify that these are not his own people. He can smell them, but he cannot see them.
So true, man.
It makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can see what's happening. And as that chaos is happening, Ashitaka, knowing Mononoke is in trouble, rushes to reach Lady Eboshi first. He lets her know what's happening.
Yeah. So is this the coincidence that he found Lady? Because he was going straight to Sun, but on his way, he tells the wolf, "Okay, continue. I'll catch up." Then he lands and gets missed by bullets. Fortunately, speaks to Lady Eboshi, tells her, "Yo, people in Iron Town need you. Like they're going through a lot. There's a war going on there."
Yep.
I guess this is the moment. Going back to what you were saying, I guess this is the moment where now we start questioning whether Lady Bosch is a villain or not. Because
definitely.
she's like, "No, I told them everything they know.
I did my best." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they'll be fine on their own.
And he's just like, okay. Yeah, so then he bounces because what else can he do?
What can he do? He did what he fulfilled his promise to the people. So
exactly. So yeah,
and Gonza is there the entire time. He's not even questioning Lady Bosch. If this was a different movie, this would have been a turning point for the second in command to say, "Hey, wait, did our leader just say this about our people?"
Yeah, it would have been a very gonzo thing to show up at that point to be like, "Yo, what's going on?" Yeah, and then Thingamajiggy, the demons start to form. Anyway, this is a great low point. Like this is the highest low point here, because Thingamajiggy gets knocked out as this thing becomes a demon. She gets swallowed up by the whole thing, but she's basically trapped on the tusk as this thing becomes a demon.
Nobody's winning at this point. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's
the only people that seem like they could be winning is the monks people.
Yeah, the humans. Yeah.
Humans, yeah. Nobody else is winning here.
Yeah. And it's and things get worse and worse, and there's no head of a snake to chop off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like in Star Wars, where it's like, oh, if you just the lead thing, then all the other ones will die. Nah, there's nothing like that. This is cascading. Things are just getting worse.
Yeah. I guess that's why you're saying it's the highest low point. It makes sense. Nothing is working right now.
Exactly. And yeah, so that's the 1 hour 45-minute mark, and we get our first real break for a while. After the whole franticness, after the chaos of everything that's happened, Ishitaka shows up at the center of the forest. First, he's the first one there, and he's completely alone. But there's nothing there. There's no spirits, no life. He finds Moro, but she's down.
But she had come there to heal herself, to get healing, right?
No, she knew she was dying. Remember, there's no healing on that type of stuff because that metal's in her.
No. What I mean is, initially, I don't know if you heard her soliloquy. She was saying that she had expected the forest spirit to come and heal her.
I'm pretty sure what she said was, "I was saving my last breath to kill Lady Eboshi."
No. Initially, she says, "I had come here hoping that the forest spirit will heal me." But then when Lady Eboshi comes, then she says, "Yeah, I'll just save my last breath for Lady Eboshi."
All right.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments.
Yeah.
And Rob has been making notes, and he saw this movie more than I did in this recent time, so I could be wrong. But that's what I remember.
We'll have to see.
Funny enough, the Moro is voiced by the lady from the X-Files. I just wanted to say that.
Huh?
You know the main actress from the X-Files?
Yes.
She's the one that voices.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I recognize that voice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even seeing her face here.
Her name is
Gillian Anderson.
Oh, no. Seems like you're a fan because I didn't even know. Like, I'm not X-Files is just one of those things I still need to watch.
Well, she's done some other stuff. Last King of Scotland.
Yeah. Who was she in The Last King of Scotland?
It's actually a good question. Sarah Merritt. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Very surprising. I'm not sure you even remember that. But yeah, no, she's done a few things that I've seen. American. Okay, I remember her in American Gods. I'm sure it was like later on, later seasons.
Mm.
But no, man, she's done a lot of stuff like beyond. Um,
Beyond the X-Files.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Ah, she was in Reboot. Oh, only for one episode. Oh, damn. But
Reboot.
yeah, but only for one episode.
Wait, which reboot are we talking about?
That old 1990, like the Toy Story
The
graphics.
CGI series.
Yeah, that
Huh.
only one episode though.
That's a Canadian thing. Is she Canadian?
Yes, it was Canadian. I don't know if she was Canadian, but definitely a Canadian thing. She starred in something called The Crown. I've never heard of that one.
The Crown is the one that's on Netflix with, I think it's basically just a historical piece.
Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, isn't this the series that talks about like basically the monarch in Britain or something?
Of course, yeah, but
Yeah, I didn't even think she would be there. Isn't because she's American, right?
She is Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, it's
She's
about
Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah, she's playing Margaret Thatcher. Because you can tell by the hairstyle. That is Margaret Thatcher.
That is interesting. So does that mean she has like a British accent in here?
Yeah, she plays. Yeah.
Okay, I need to watch it. She was also on The Simpsons as the same character that she plays in The X-Files. She was on Frasier.
Short stuff.
Ish, bro, you and I still need to. I hope we one day will dedicate time to, because I think you said you don't mind us to do Frasier. That would be great.
I would love us to do Frasier. I love Frasier.
2020. Oh, The Crown in 2020. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, she has an extensive filmography. I'm just not familiar with her. I'm sure I loved her in something.
Oh no,
Just
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
But
Anyway,
yeah. Anyway, yeah, yeah. She goes up to face the boar, who's become a full demon. This is Moro. Then
yes,
we see Lady Eboshi is there along with the monk. We also see that the forest spirit is there. The god is yeah. So while that's happening, Sun and Ishtaki are fighting to she's trying to get Sun out of the demon.
right.
But yeah, when this happens, the forest spirit shows up to help out, and very interesting. Those like what you call leeches show up.
Yes.
Well, they start to turn to mud, I think, when the forest spirit shows up.
Yeah, they die basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here's the line. And here I was saving my last strength for that woman. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was reading the subtitles on the thing, but anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. That definitely happens after she had spoken that she wants to. She was hoping that the forest spirit would be there to help her, save her.
Yeah. But anyway, she rushes to get her out.
But this is after ladyeboshi shoots the forest spirit in the head.
Before. All of that was before. Remember, when the forest spirit shows up, the worms or leeches, as you say, die. So that hasn't happened yet. So the wolf showing up to take out the things happens before the forest spirit gets shot.
No, wait. Ladyeboshi shot the forest spirit twice.
Yes. Only. Okay.
Because remember, the forest spirit was on its way to Otoko, and on its way, that's when ladyeboshi shoots it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So as it was going down, it was about to drown or whatever.
Yeah, you could say that the first bullet is while the wolf is yanking out, sun.
Yes. 100%, yes.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, so now we get to see the forest spirit. But now, as the night is coming, the forest spirit starts to turn into the night.
I realized I jumped the gun. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
The forest spirit becomes the night walker, and that's when all that stuff melts, and then we finally get Sun out. And
Right.
she's in the water, and yeah. And then what ends up happening is the forest spirit ends up killing Itaka, whatever the thing. Yeah. She ends up killing the wolf. I mean the bear, and she ends up killing the wolf as well.
Yeah.
Old shit. She kills both of them. Give me 1 second. My mouse battery died.
No problem.
Am I back? Am I back? Am I not back? 1 second.
No problem. I think I'll just add on to say, I like the fact that Ashitaka was willing to sacrifice his entire life to save Sun. I mean, this is when, that was quite a dramatic moment.
Oh yeah.
Him going to the line of fire like that, trying to save her, obviously didn't work. That's why the mom had to save her.
Yes.
The thing is, this movie, if you were telling it even from the mom, like Sun's mom point of story, you do see how she is the hero in Sun's life. Like that woman is a hero in Sun's life, dog. Like throughout Sun's entire life.
Oh yeah. Despite the fact how brutal she is, like she's
she's brutal to everybody else. But isn't that what mothers are? Like mothers are brutal towards everybody else, but not to the children.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Which actually brings up an interesting question, by the way, because am I the only one who thought to myself, "Oh, okay, he stopped the bullet from showing"? Because remember, Eboshi's gun, smacked by his sword, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so he stopped the gun from shooting," and then the gun starts to form flowers. You're like, "Oh, okay, they stopped the gun from shooting."
Yeah, then the gun shooting
fires anyway, and I'm like, "Wait, did I misunderstand where the sword hit?"
Yeah. I also asked myself the same question when I saw that scene, because I wasn't quite sure where that sword actually was placed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it above where the bullet should be going up?
Yeah, it hit the wood underneath the barrel itself. So I thought it cut through the barrel.
Yeah.
But clearly not. I hit the wood. So that was interesting, yeah. But then it happens. She cuts it off. After everything they try to do to stop her, she blows its head off. And it's like, and remember, she was like, "This is how you kill a god, gents." And you're like, okay, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, why are you talking as if you've killed this god before? You've never done this before.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, but also, why?
Remember, I think she was doing it because, this is the discussion that we were meant to have. The only reason that I can possibly fathom out of this whole situation and about Lady Eboshi at this juncture, because I still don't think she's a villain. I think she's at best an anti-hero. I think it's because she just has a sense of adventure. I know it's a whack explanation, or it's a weak explanation, but I think she just has a sense of adventure. She's the type who would rule the world, after ruling the world, want to rule other planets, because she's never satisfied with. And I know it sounds like a villain. That's what villains.
That sounds pretty evil. Yeah, that sounds pretty evil.
But she's one of those villains who would take care of her people, as opposed to other villains.
People she left behind and said, "Nah, they're fine. They're fine. I've got them covered."
Yeah,
but see the size of the army that was approaching.
But remember, she had given them training. She had given them guns. So she was right in a sense to say they'll be fine. But I don't think she had trained anybody to be a leader in her absence. Like if Gonzo and
she didn't train anyone to be a leader in a thing at all.
Yeah, I guess that's I don't know. Maybe
consequences.
Maybe people think I'm biased because she's pretty or whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like she's a very complex character. She's not.
Even when the forest dies, she's like, "Oh wow," and it's like, "Nigga, what?"
And I think that's why Moro became pissed off. Because after that, I don't know if the forest spirit gave Moro life back again, even if it was just for a few minutes.
That was about. I also don't know what that was about. Like, I don't think that was life back at all. I think it was just
that animal thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that thing was. I think it's just like a.
Like with animals.
I don't think that was tomorrow. I think that would make.
You know, like with animals, sometimes like how you slaughter a chicken, but it still runs away even though it's beheaded.
It's the body that does that, not the head, though.
That's true. But remember, these things are spirits. Like in as much as yeah, they are like gods or something. So
But
maybe
you think that was Moro doing that? It wasn't the spirit doing that.
yeah, but isn't Moro like a god?
That's a good question. Are they even literal gods, or are they just like? Are they gods? Like,
Or are they just giant beasts? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that's the thing about this law that we don't really know much about. If this was a series, maybe we would have gotten more exposition. But yeah, I also didn't understand what the hell was going on. I thought this thing was dead. But I think I've seen also with animals. I think a snake. I've seen a documentary about a snake where it was beheaded, but people would also warn you that even though it's beheaded, the snake can still spew venom.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
maybe that's what happened here.
Oh well, but anyway, they blow the head off, and it just fucking turns into a slime monster.
Dude, I genuinely thought that thing was gonna burst. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
that scene, I always think and it doesn't blow. I'm like,
the way
ah,
it
man.
flows.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Obviously,
Eboshi is just living her best life. But now, actually, you know what? No, I think you're right. It is Moro. I think it is Moro basically using the life death power to come after her.
yeah.
It rips her fucking arm off.
And I don't think that was an intention. I think the intention was to rip her head off.
Of course.
But I think she missed.
Oh, definitely.
And then what did Lady Eboshi say? She said something to Gonzo about a monster always gets what it wants or something like that.
It just says no on the subtitles I'm seeing. It just says Moro's head moved by itself. Doesn't really say anything more specific than that. That's all she says.
not Moro, but I think Lady Eboshi
That's
does
something.
yeah.
She's saying that.
What did Lady Eboshi say?
She just says it moves by itself. Like she's surprised that happened.
Okay, maybe were you watching the Japanese dub?
No, I'm watching. Well, yeah, I'm watching subtitles right now. Actually, I'm watching kind of like a clip thing. I'm
Oh,
watching.
I was watching the English.
I also watch English, but the subtitles. You know, when you watch English with subtitles.
Yes.
That's somewhat. That's the subtitles.
Oh, okay. I promise you, man. She said something that she had said before.
Well, it would be a better line than the head moved by itself, so it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so the tree spirits are all like flopping to the ground. And then Thingamajiggy is like, Moro's had her revenge. So Thingamajiggy is still like out here giving Eboshi, out here giving him like Eboshi's still like, yeah, she's like, yeah, she's fine with everything that's happened.
Yeah. She has no regrets, but
No regrets, dude. Anyway, they help her despite the fact that
I like the bit of information there where Gonzo's like, I can't swim. It's like, okay, it's fine, just walk.
walk on the ground. I was just like, Jesus.
It's these subtle moments where you start understanding certain people a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies like kind of make it seem like Gonzo is useless. It is far. That guy is far from useless. Hey, that guy is an accountant, dog. Like that guy handles the accounting in peaceful times.
Definitely.
But anyway.
But yeah, anyway, they surrounded, they helped Lady Eboshi. And of course, Sun is not happy about any of that shit.
Yeah. I think Lady Boshi says something to Ashitaka to the effect of
I say like, don't waste your sympathy on me or some shit.
yeah, don't waste your sympathy on me. Like Lady Boshi, relax.
First of all, shut the hell up.
Dude, like I'm trying to help you here.
Opinion is not required right now. And Sun is, of course, rightfully mad. Her mother is dead. The other wolves don't die, if I'm correct. But her mother Moro is definitely dead.
Yeah.
The forest is actively dying right before their eyes.
Right.
Those little forest things, those little forest ghosts, all start dropping like a snowstorm, basically.
You know what? I feel at this point, even though we never see the monkeys again, I feel like the monkeys were like, you see, this is exactly what we were talking
No,
about.
they're watching TV. They're watching from binoculars on the other side. They're gone. They left the forest right now, watching binoculars.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like,
yeah.
screw y'all. We tried to help y'all, but y'all were not helping us. So, yeah.
So yeah, that's why that's happening. Yeah, the princess, of course, doesn't want to help, but he's like, no, please help us. And she's like, no, you can go to hell. You're helping them, the people that have caused all of this.
Yes.
He's like, look, man, I'm human, you're human. We need to help each other. And I'm like, no. But anyway,
Funny enough, here's the thing about Sun. Sun loves Ashitaka, but she likes pretending like she doesn't.
Oh yeah.
You remember there was a point where the mom was like, the man you loving. She's like, no, I hate him. Like, since when?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She even stabs him with his own thing. Like that. Like she digs that into his chest. And I'm like, okay, so these powers are strong, né? But yeah. Everything's gone down. It's chaos. It's actually kind of visually beautiful. But anyway, they get up and they leave.
Yeah.
And so many people have died. Like there's like all the samurai that were with them drop dead. Their lives are sucked out. Half of the people that were carrying the head, their lives get sucked out.
Yeah.
But there's actually a bunch of hunters still left behind, and they fucking beeline it out the forest. They are running for their lives, literally. Yeah. No matter what, don't stop. There's even a moment where like they fall down, the head is trying to get back out.
Yeah.
Things are happening. It's a cool scene.
No, it is. It is.
But anyway, yeah.
Because they were basically just forcing things, dog. Even though they saw that, look, at this point we won't make it, they were still forcing to take this head to the emperor.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like, nigga, things are falling apart. Stop. And the scene kind of ends with this giant thing chasing after.
This is a Vance make-up moment, dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the scene ends like that. And everything was, it's raw chaos. Everything is beautiful. I question some of the ethical decisions the characters are making, but I'm just like, you know what? It's Asian storytelling. That's just how they are.
Because the monk is busy trying to fight Ashitaka, dog.
Dog. It makes no sense. Well, at least from a Western perspective, but I get it. It's like
For me, it does make sense because it's like, yo, no matter what happens, I need to give this head to the emperor. Like that guy just wanted money, dog. Like he didn't care. But I don't know what kind of a monk this guy is, dog.
Well, she's like, look, man, I know I've destroyed the forest, but I'm not here to help. Yeah. And San is like, this person just killed my whole family. I'm not here to help either. But Ashitaka's like, no, I need your help. It's like, no. I'd have been like, nah, I'm not helping no matter what you say. But anyway, the power of love pushes them forwards. Yeah. And we finally cut back to Iron City. The sun, actually, no, the sun's not starting to rise, but we start to see shit is going down. There's a lot of dead samurai. Did
Ashitaka want them to leave?
No, not yet. You think later. But the woman and the lepers are in terrible shape as they keep fighting. There's a moment of silent rest. The people look up to see a mega beast rising, devouring the forest and everything there. The samurai run away. The Lord Samurai run away. The wolves manage to get to the village just before the spirit does. And the village is destroyed too. They get to the head of the warriors. They fight as the head runs away. They plan. The plan being outrun in the night. The plan is to outrun the night because they feel like if they can outrun the night in the day forms, then that headless form will shape back to the original forest spirit, and then it'll die. So the night spirit is immortal, but the forest spirit is not. Is the idea they're going for.
Right.
But before they can do that, the creature basically catches them, basically like surrounds them, and then they pull out I think, who is it? I think it's them, or is it? Yeah, it's them that pull out the thing, the head, and they give it back.
Yeah, because they basically ask the monk to open the thing.
Yeah.
Which he does eventually, because he starts realizing that, okay, clearly there's no winning here.
Around it, it's over. Yeah.
And the curse actually now spreads towards to San as well.
Oh yeah. Because why does it spread to Sun again? I think it's
I don't
because
think either it spread to San or she gets infected by the same.
yeah, no, she gets infected as well. I think it's because she's holding the head. I think the head gives you the curse now.
Yes.
Or the oil, or whatever that oil liquid is, gives them the curse. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, they give it back to the.
So they end up sharing the curse, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
After that, there's no. After that, dog, you guys are bound for life. Like, there's no, hey, I'm with Josh now. I don't love you anymore. My man, y'all almost died together. Like, y'all sacrificed. Like, y'all are,
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I
definitely.
mean?
But yeah, the god falls over the iron town, creating more damage before life falls over the area, covering the forest and the let's just say the flat mountain range, in grass and baby tree saps, seedlings. Both.
Basically, returning to its original form, returning that entire area into its original form.
No, no, the forest is destroyed. There's no trees there. It's grass, which is not the same thing as forest. So
Oh, okay. Fair
yeah,
enough.
what's destroyed is destroyed, which is very not Disney. I actually think that's one of the most interesting things. Is that a lot of times in Eastern storytelling, when there's consequences, there's consequences.
Yeah. Like, they never changed, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that was done in Marvel, where remember that storyline where Scarlet Witch says no more mutants?
Oh yeah.
They're still facing those things today, even though, yes, there are some mutants that were
Yeah.
discovered elsewhere.
Yes.
But some of those mutants who lost their powers when Scarlet Witch said no more mutants still don't have their powers. It's kind of like in South Africa where they say that they still have prisoners in Robben Island.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's basically that type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
even though there has been change, but the events of whatever occurred back in the day are still rife in this day and age.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I do get what you're saying. Like,
It's more interesting storytelling, if you're honest.
Ras, yeah, yeah, it shows that, look, it's kind of even, I mean, there's something as minute as Ashitaka's scar on his face. Even though he got healing earlier on in the story, that scar was not healed.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he got healed from a bullet wound,
Yes.
but the scar caused by San is still there. Yeah,
Hey, sometimes the people you care for most are the ones that give you the deepest scars.
100%.
So yeah, they wake up surrounded by grass. The forest spirit is gone, but not dead. Princess will return to the forest, and he will return to Iron Town. She will never forgive what's happened.
Is it not dead though, that thing? Because I think she said it's dead, but then Ashitaka's like, no, not necessarily.
Yes.
His
She's
essence is still there or
dead.
whatever.
But he says no, it's not dead. It's just something else now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, there's no forest, so it can't be a forest spirit right now. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I almost want to say spirit. It's ethereal right now. And
Right.
until the forest regrows, then it'll grow back.
Yeah, just a matter of time.
Yeah, so the forest needs to rebuild first, and then it'll come back.
Right.
So yeah, and that's kind of one of the lessons here is rebuilding, I think. I think
Yeah.
that's the spirit lesson is that it's about rebuilding.
Because I think Lady Eboshi, I guess you could say that Lady Eboshi also learned her lesson here because you could see that now she's basically sort of atoning in a sense because she says,
She never says sorry, dude.
no, she doesn't
Never
say
says
sorry.
She never even says what I did was wrong. She doesn't atone for shit. She's just
Okay.
like, oh well, I guess we gotta try again. Oh!
But this time we're gonna do it differently. That's what she said.
I think I can't remember what she says. Just wait, let me see if I can find it. But it's like, fuck you.
Anyway, yeah. So,
But yeah, she'll
but I
never
think,
forgive what's happened. She understands, but they'll stay close. Him moving between the two worlds. We're in recovery mode.
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. She's okay. Instead of thingamajiggy, instead of apology, she does want to thank. She wants to thank Atoshi for everything, and says she'll rebuild the. Yeah, she'll rebuild. That's what she says.
Well, trust me, she does say that this time they'll do it differently in the English dub, in Neil Gaiman's.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. We're in recovery mode. The monk gives up. Lady Eboshi promises to rebuild. That's all that's lost, and the story just kind of ends.
Yeah. It's one of those movies where actually the ending has to be open-ended. There's no way that you can really like have a happy ending in such a story because it's deeper than just like there's no happily ever after here.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Here we're just sending you a message, and what you do in real life is up to you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the ending scene is very abrupt.
Yeah.
See many clues and many showings of a return, and that the people have gone through a change. This is a stunning movie. It's a story of loss, a story of change, a story of regrowth, a story that deals with death and the change with the swiftness of nature itself. Now, there's ways of interpreting that. You can interpret that well, or you interpret that negatively. I think the negative interpretation is that things happen fast, but over a long course, which can sometimes feel slow. But in my opinion, I think it happens fairly smoothly. And I think this is it's a beautiful, unique, almost miraculous film. And I give it a strong 8.5 to maybe 9 out of 10.
This is gonna be my second 10 out of 10 movie. The first one was Prisoners. This is my second 10 out of 10 movie. Dog, the first time I watched this movie, I was in awe, dog. I was in complete and utter awe.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, I just love it every single time. I think it's not meant to be. It's like you said earlier on. It's meant to subvert expectations, and also it gives you because one thing that we haven't really spoken about Miyazaki is that he likes making female main characters. And this time around, he made a main character male, right? And also, if you really think about Lady Eboshi could have been any gender. It could have been a man. It could have been Mr. Eboshi, right? Because like how you were saying when we were talking about this whole femme fatale thing that we didn't even see here, as like that character could have easily been male. But despite that, I think it hits the right emotions. Nothing feels dragged. Nothing feels like it should have been added on. If it had to be added on, it's just us, like how we were saying throughout the film that maybe if we had that, like the law, like why is Moro all of a sudden waking up? But whether we have an answer to that or not, for me, doesn't really deter the story. The story is still as good as it is.
I think it's perfect as it is.
Yeah.
At the same time, I could totally see this being a 10 episode Netflix TV series.
100%.
Absolutely see that.
I actually wanted to ask you, do you think this should have been a live action adaptation of, like, do you think there should be a live adaptation? But I'm not talking about.
Too expensive. Way too expensive.
Yeah. Right.
I'll wait.
Do it right. They have to do it right.
True. But definitely 10 episode Netflix TV series, I could see that happening.
Yeah, same here. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I think we nailed this movie in detail. Like, and I think this is probably like a 3-hour session.
No, it is. No, it's definitely, dude. I couldn't believe that the Street Fighter thing that we did is 3 hours.
Did you add the tangent? That's the only way I could think it's 3 hours.
No, I didn't. I took it out still.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
If that tangent was still in there, it probably would have been 3 hours, 30, 40 minutes.
Hot damn.
Yeah. Anyway.
It made sense because there's a lot of beats.
Yeah, look, man, this is one of the strongest. It's crazy that nobody actually thought of adapting this into a live action after they saw it. It's crazy because usually, like Hollywood, they're so greedy that they would have like tried to do it, but for some reason but I guess they knew who they were dealing with because I don't think Miyazaki would have agreed.
Yeah. This man gets mad at cuts of his things, so imagine them being like, okay, we're gonna add a few. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, please let us know what you think about this movie. Rob gave it an 8.5, which is a solid review. I give it a 10 out of 10. Let us know who your favorite character is. Have you watched this movie? If you have, when did you watch it? What was your initial thoughts when you watched it? Is it something that you don't mind watching over again? What are the lessons that you've learned? Please also give us your recommendations. Let us know which movies you think we should watch. I mean, we already have our lists, but I think we can also just shift things around if needs be and then do an audience recommendation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Please remember to check out Rob's book, Jane's War. I'll leave a link in the description below, as I've said before. And yeah, we will see you guys on the next one. I believe the next one we're doing is called Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley's
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro. So yeah, we will see you guys there. Look, perhaps you should watch the movie first before you see the video. I think it will be a lot interesting if we're breaking down these things while you guys will really watch the video, the movie, with fresh eyes, so that when you break it down, you guys have a better memory of the events that occur in the film. I think that would be great. Yeah, but yeah, from myself, Mr. Extrodin, and from Rob Sibeko, guys, thank you so much for checking out African Frame, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.
Peace.